Oh boy, howdy.
Howdy ho.
I ever ask you? I think I probably have before. What are the worst lyrics that have ever been written?
Oh. Uh, you caught me off guard. Go, if you have something thought up.
Okay. Well, my answer changes frequently, but there's a couple of staples. Like for example, there's in Firework by Katy Perry. Um, the bridge, she says, "Boom, boom, boom, even brighter than the moon, moon, moon." That's pretty bad. But no, I was in the gas station the other day, and Breakfast at Tiffany's came on.
Oh,
Um,
that one is kind of weird.
the chorus to that one has the dumbest lyrics because it's just a man and woman who are kind of fighting a little. They're lovers. They're fighting a little bit, and she's like, "We don't have anything in common." And then the chorus, he's like, "I said, what about Breakfast at Tiffany's?" She said, "I think I remember that film. Yes, as I recall, I think we both kind of liked it." And I said, "Well, that's the one thing we've got."
I mean, it's kind of melancholy, like Gen X disinterest with your relationship type stuff a little bit.
I know, but it's such
Kind of.
I don't know, just that back and forth. I don't know. It sounds like I guess maybe people think it's artsy because it sounds like dialogue in an indie film. Sounds like
I
something
remembered
Adam Driver would have been in.
I remembered the worst, which we've already gone over before, and I know that we all know that it's bad. It's that train the your lipstick stain on the. And you looked at that whole lyric.
Oh
What?
yeah.
What are you doing?
Hang
Oh,
on, I'm just.
my dog's not let me get to my mouth. Eat that bone. You can eat it for 3 minutes. I'm gonna see it. What
No, because before Imagine Dragons came to my attention, I always told everybody that Train was the worst band to ever exist. And that one's full of bad lyrics. That one's bad. Yeah, your lipstick stains on the front lobe of my left side brain. There's like a virgin, you're Madonna. What?
I knew I wouldn't forget you, and so I went and let you blow my son. So I went and let you blow my.
Yeah, my heart's about to beat right out my untrimmed chest. Oh, it's Risto. Risto, what are the worst
It's
lyrics in the world?
the thug thing. The I'm so gangster, you're so thug part. I mean, that's.
Oh,
I mean, I think everybody cringed right on
you're
the
so
first second.
gangster. I'm so thug. You're the only one I'm dreaming of.
Yeah, I think actually Saturday Night Live even did a skit on that one. The guy went and sang that when he was proposing to his black girlfriend in front of
Train,
his.
but Train's got a lot of bad ones. He's got one where I can't remember the exact words, but it's, oh, what is it? Something about I went to an island so remote only Johnny Depp had ever been there.
Man,
Or they did that. Shit, they sampled that stupid. It's not Hot Cross Buns. It's like the first song kids learn on piano.
chopsticks.
Da da da. Heart and Soul. That's it. It's they.
Oh yeah.
And they commit a cardinal sin in that song too, in that they use the lyrics that I think should be banned permanently. Hey, Mr. DJ.
Yeah, that one. Hey, Mr. DJ, put a record on. Stop it. There was that lyric that I pulled up recently from Wilco, who has some of my favorite lyrics in history, but it was just something I can't even remember which song it's on. It's on one of the more recent ones, but he just says, "I wish money didn't exist, so people could just get what they want," or something like that. I can't remember.
Well,
we pulled it up on here before.
Yeah, you'd probably have to barter. If it weren't for money, we'd probably just have like a machine, like a vending machine for like just all the things. So you know what? I would like a medium rare ribeye. I'm gonna press this button, and it's like, you're welcome. Money doesn't exist.
I'm trying to find it.
I swear to God, all of the commie power fantasies are just like appealing to magic. Because like they always try to go to Star Trek is like it's a post scarcity thing, and they pretty much have magic in Star Trek. They have technology so advanced that we would call it magic. They have food fabricators, sure. They got all this stuff that just gives you everything you want at the push of a button. Awesome, that's cool. That doesn't exist here. Oh man, Jesus would be a commie. Well, why do you say that? Well, because he like fed everyone on the Sermon on the Mount. Yeah, it's because he's God. All right, like he has superpowers actually.
Yeah. I'm gonna lose it trying to find which song it was. I know I pulled it up on here before, but it'd be harder to pull it up on here before with all of our crap going back. Troy says Risto's talking too much. Yeah, I pulled it up on here before. It was so dumb.
Hi.
Risto's in the house.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. How are you guys doing?
It's
that's pretty good.
Yeah. Have you Googled? Have you gone in?
I was gonna ask Risto if he had any tacos lately, but
I just had tacos just now. Risto wouldn't have liked them. They were hard shell.
I'm okay with hard shell. Like I grew up on hard shell.
I am not okay with hard shell. I've never liked the hard shell taco once, partially because when I was a kid, I didn't like tacos because I was picky about onions and tomatoes and stuff. So that was the time that the people really pushed hard tacos. I remember back in the 80s and 90s in the US. In fact, I don't think I even came across the concept of a non-hard shell taco until I went to Mexico.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember that. And
I thought hard shell was the default when I was a kid until
we had those terrible store-bought taco shells too.
Oh yeah.
Are there good versions of that? Like, do you know of a good version of that, Risto? Is there like a high-class hard shell taco?
We tried to make one as a family.
Because in Mexico, and I've said it before here, in Mexico it's just tinga, but tinga is a flat. It's hardened, but it's just flat.
Yeah, tostadas.
Yeah. There's a thing called tinga, which means kind of with shredded chicken, but yeah, tostadas, right. Same thing. Yep.
Right. No, I've never, besides the old school ones, where Taco Bell came from.
Those were good. Those are like
where they're actually frying them. And I don't know if those were flour or corn, but
I don't know of well, I mean, I guess I could like eat like a hard shell taco now. I just wouldn't love it. But when I was a kid, I thought they were disgusting. I thought burritos were disgusting.
Well, I didn't like soft shell tacos when I was a kid because when I first had one, it's just a store-bought flour tortilla.
I mean, to throw one up for the neoliberal order out in the world out there, around here in Utah, 1980s, there was, I don't know of any sort of, well, maybe it's just my Mormon parents didn't know anything, but I don't know of any sort of good Mexican food that I ever came across. Like what I associated Mexican food with when I was a kid was like school lunch stuff, and it was bad. And yeah, really? As soon as all the Mexicans started moving in and making their restaurants, that was when like, wait a minute, this stop is good.
Yeah, see, I was my dad he served in Ecuador, so he had a bunch of Spanish branch callings when we moved to Idaho Falls, and so we had a lot of Mexican friends, and we'd go to their activities.
But they were making it themselves. Was there a restaurant in Idaho in the 80s that you could have relied on?
There's Taco Time.
No, but that's not the thing.
I'm just kidding.
My family moved to Minnesota in 1990 from California. From California.
California might have already had it.
The California already did, but the grocery stores here in 1990 didn't sell avocados.
Oh my gosh!
And when they started selling them, I think the first time we checked out, the cashier, the young teenage gal at the cashier, asked, "Is this a cucumber?"
Oh my gosh!
So like before Food Network and everything. Things were way different in the 80s and 90s, early 90s.
Minnesota at that time was probably even like pre-Utah in some senses, and then it launched all the way the other direction to Rio de Janeiro. I don't know what you'd call it nowadays, but I mean, you've probably gone through way more of a drastic overhaul than even Utah has. Although we're getting there in every possible way in Salt Lake City. But I don't know. There's good Mexican restaurants around. I went to an Iranian restaurant a while back, and it was
Oh,
good.
really?
Yeah.
I mean, I was born in '91, so I don't remember not living with a bunch of Mexicans. You know, because
You don't.
Well, and
Yeah,
and
sure.
like Food Network, before Food Network, like the idea of like learning about new foods,
That's true.
that wasn't really a thing.
That's true. Nobody was trying to do it themselves and all that stuff. But
Yeah,
no on
internet.
top of that, when I was young, there were Mexicans around. I didn't realize half of them were Mexicans until I got my mission and realized those were Mexican last names. But that's because they also integrated so well. Like nobody had like an accent or anything.
Yeah.
Maybe they were already all second generation by then or something. But like honestly, my Mexican friends when I was little that I went to high school with, I had no real acknowledgement that they were that different than any one of us or anything. And it was only later that I was finally like, oh, that's a Trujillo. What? You know, and I did that a whole lot when I was learning Mexican names. So
I think you cut out for a little bit.
I did.
Yeah, you came back in on what?
I was saying what when I found out that my friends' names were Spanish names.
Oh,
like,
really?
I had no idea.
I guess it's just my dad told me all about it. Like,
I was babysat. My babysitter when I was young was a gal named Lucero.
I mean,
we didn't say it like that. We said Lucero. I had
didn't-
no idea she was.
You didn't
Latina.
you didn't notice that all the Garcias were brown?
I mean, I noticed they were brown. There were some guys who would kind of like once in a while say, I'm brownish, or some sort of thing like that. But then no, a lot of them I didn't. Like a lot of them, when I stopped and realized and thought about it, I'm like, well, they were dark hair and their last name's Trujillo, or they were dark hair and their last name was, something like that. And I just didn't even realize that last name was Latino at all. But that was the 90s, back when the multiculti was a melting pot, man. We were all melting together. But I mean, there were one or two kind of like Fez in that 70s show that were transfer students who really were second language Spanish. And we all actually loved those guys too, but their language barrier was way different than ours. But it was like two of them. It was like two or three of them, but we'd really kind of incorporate them and hang out with them, especially because they were good at soccer and stuff like that. But
Fez is my favorite waiter at my favorite bar that I go to.
His name's Fez?
Yeah. No, but he's basically Fez. There's him and there's a trans chick that is my least favorite. And not because he's trans, because he's a shit waiter. I always get like a mojito and cheese fries when I go there. And I understand the trans waiter didn't cook it, but he brings it over and he just looks angry to be doing his job. He like sets it down on a thing. It's like fries, and then the cheese isn't totally melted. Like half of it's still a block. And I was like, look, I know you didn't cook this, but like you see that, right? It's a cube of solid cheese on top of fries.
So it might be blasphemous to you guys, but I'm like anti-cheese on anything Mexican, unless it's kind of like that kind of Gouda-y stuff, whatever the Mexicans put on it. But I do, as soon as something's got cheddar cheese on it or mozzarella on it, my brain is out of Mexican land entirely, and that's some sort of Texan thing or something like that, Texan or New Mexico.
It's Tex-Mex,
Yeah. The burrito was made in California though, and down in Mexico they had no idea what it was. At least
why did they call it a burrito?
They didn't. You went down there and you asked for a burrito, and they were like, "What are you talking about?"
No, but I mean, why did the Californians call it a burrito?
I have no idea, but they were likely Mexican Californians too.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
There's a couple different restaurants around there that claim credit for the first one. I think it's like San Francisco area or something like that. But in Mexico, they had no idea what a quesadilla or a burrito was. Quesadillas were called sincronizadas, and they thought if you were asking for them, it was like if you went to somebody's house and asked for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. They thought you were ridiculous. Like, you're asking for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? No, I'm asking if you want food. I'm like, no, yeah, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You're like, no, we're not making it. Like, please, it's all we want. Please. Yeah. But
oh yeah, Steve says some waiters talk too much. Here's a fucking irritating thing that some waiters do now. I've been noticing in the last couple of years. They'll come up to your table, and then they'll just like, hey, what can I do for you? And they'll like squat down like this.
Saturday Night Live just had a whole skit about it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, Miguel getting up and talking too much and getting in their face, and Jack Black came out with them afterwards as the manager. Like, no, they haven't got time, and then you can't understand them. They're just talking like that type deal. But I saw people on Twitter say, "Oh man, you guys are here. They are again, just making fun of Middle America. Those are people's jobs, man."
Okay, well, those people can be annoying sometimes. Like, I don't know. I've had waiters. I swear to God, they got to just watch. And as soon as a conversation starts getting serious or maybe even stressful or like really good, hey, how are we liking all the food today? I'm the manager here. I just like to know that you're enjoying our fine establishment. Like, could you say that in less words? You could just come up and be like, hey, how is everything?
I've had Bolivian food. I mean, there was a Bolivian restaurant called, it was like La Isalqueña or something like that here in Utah. And I went to it, and they had the bananas and the rice, and that was all good with that.
Really?
Yeah.
How did they do it? It was savory?
Yeah. It was it was kind of like a fried banana in it, and it wasn't. I know what you're talking about, those savory, like those really good ones. So no, it was more on the sweet end of that. But I mean, It was just in the rice type stuff. I know those other like big plantains that you're talking about that are. It wasn't quite that, but it also wasn't like a banana, like an American banana, whatever.
But was the rice savory? Because like Asians,
the rice is savory. Yes.
Okay, because Cambodians, they do like bananas and rice, but it's like a steamed dessert with like coconut milk.
Oh, well, that sounds good too.
It's super good, but it's like dessert.
Oh no, this was totally part of the meal out with like the meat and all that sort of stuff. Really good stuff. It was right over by the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake. I wonder if it's still there. I doubt it is, but it was good. Get this dog chewing on something. He's driving me nuts. We got on the screen here. We got the fallacies. A girl trying to break up a guy and using all the fallacies to not let him break up. I just don't have feelings for you anymore. Appeal to emotions fallacy. You don't even care about me. Straw man fallacy. A real boyfriend wouldn't treat me like this. No true Scotsman fallacy. Please just leave. I don't want to call the cops. Appeal to authority fallacy. Yeah.
I call it the fallacy, except for one of them, it starts with a PH instead.
Phallogocentrism. I see your names. Risto's coming in. You want to bring up the math, get into the math stuff, the math queer debate. We had a bit of an argument about that online, about the 2 + 2 = 4. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit here, but we got to cover all the slop in the world first. Speaking of the slop, me reading a book instead of watching Netflix because I don't want my favorite character to turn gay for no reason. So this is real.
They Toph is stacked. No, it's not real.
Oh, I thought you made a real one. I was like, I totally. Nowadays, I don't even know what to believe with this stuff. I think this stuff's coming out.
The scene is real, but the massive tits are not.
Did he didn't become that shredded too, Aang, right? Or did he when he was older?
I think he did.
Oh, he did?
I
couldn't watch Korra. Like Korra, I fell off with Korra pretty hard.
Korra wasn't very good. Because she was an asshole. It's funny because there's a lot of people blaming, they're like, if Korra was a male character, you guys wouldn't have shat on her so much. Like, not like you don't hear people shitting on the characters of Toph or Katara or Azula or Mai or the Kyoshi Warriors or former female Avatar. There's a million female characters that are really well done in Avatar. Even Azula, who's a psychopath, is very well done. And like, you hate her, but you're supposed to hate her. You don't hate how she's written. Korra, she's an asshole, and not in like an endearing way. Like Toph's a little bit of an asshole, but they do it well. I don't know.
Isn't she a little bit Mary Sue too?
Toph?
No, the Korra.
It's been a long time since I've seen it. I know that, like, I understand what they were doing because Aang had a hard time learning all the other elements.
He started late, like a Jedi, like a Luke Skywalker.
He did. And I think Earth was the toughest one for him because that was the last one he learned. But Korra had everything down from. She was a prodigy, except she sucked at airbending. So that was the whole first season, was her trying to learn airbending. So I understand trying to do like a different thing, because that's juxtaposed against Aang, who was really good at airbending, and Korra's a hot-headed dick.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to even remember what I didn't like about it, because it's just also not memorable.
Well, you tricked me. I thought this was real. I thought they were coming out with new stuff and they were making it like a Disney.
Oh,
like a Disney Clubhouse kid who's now coming out with their sexuality side or something.
There's new stuff. It's just it's a movie.
I don't think I have it. Maybe I do, but there was like this thing, Miley Cyrus coming out saying that she really, really affected her family, her slut phase, and she wishes she didn't do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that like it affected her dad, affected people around her, like looking at her, affected her grandparents, and she just, if she could go back and do it again, she would undo that entire push that she felt that the label was trying to push her into doing, which is kind of interesting. The Boys is back on. I'm watching The Boys.
I didn't even try season 4.
I
love how the writers came out like, did you know Homelander is an allegory for Trump? And we're all like, what?
Really?
Wow.
It's so on the nose. I mean, it's got interesting action. The guy who plays Homelander is a great actor.
Oh, he is.
And he does do like intimidating and off his rocker at the same time, like so well.
All the
you just wish that like the rest of it wasn't so on the nose.
All the acting's really good in that.
Yeah. Do you know why the left is boycotting it?
Why? Oh, because of the Israeli actor.
Yeah, Frenchie was in the IDF.
Yeah.
And he even came out and said that he wouldn't do it again if he did it. Like years before he was even cast, said that he doesn't.
Well, yeah. No, that's actually.
But that doesn't matter. He was in the IDF, so he was part of the terrorist group.
There's a quote from an interview years ago where he was talking about it, like how they like go and take girls from Muslim homes, and like she has to leave this home to be interrogated or something, and they didn't want us to take her, but we took her anyway or whatever. The part they leave out is him being like, I couldn't do that. Like I didn't like that at all.
Yeah. Look what they did to our boy. Why, you want to know what? I'm really, really mad at myself again. I haven't watched this yet. I actually unsubscribed from my Hulu a while back because I paid for it for like 3 years. And I'm like, I probably watched 4 things on this in 3 years. And then I just decided to delete it right before this was coming on. And I did the thing again where I got excited again for like, I wasn't excited, but it's like, oh, that'll be cool. And I learned 7 years ago to stop doing that. And I did it again a little bit. And I haven't watched it, but
it sucks. I wouldn't even bother with it.
So I have to be Malcolm in the Middle Jewish now too. Just like I'm Jewish for everything else. I only believe in the
Old Testament.
The Old Testament. The show creators, the ones who did the one in the 90s, they have 3 of their 4 kids are queer.
Yeah. What are the odds?
That's wild. But I mean, that show, I rewatched that show actually pretty recently.
Yeah, it's great.
It took me a while to get through it all, but like I probably just finished it all like 6 months ago, and it took me maybe a year just watching it on and off. And it's so good. It like might compete with some of the best shows of the era, like even Seinfeld or something like that. But
I like it more than Seinfeld. I could never get into Seinfeld. I like Seinfeld in clips, but I could watch Malcolm in the Middle anytime.
This I watched Chato's review of it.
Yeah.
And Chato said the characters can't be the characters anymore because the way that none of them, like in some sort of world, you could have done this exact thing if Reese was Reese, how Reese would be to that person. You know what I mean? Like Reese wouldn't be, that's what Chato said. I haven't seen the whole thing, but it's like, make them a real character, even if they're in there. Cause I mean, obviously those people exist and all sorts of stuff, but Reese ceases to exist as Reese does as soon as that person is around. And now he's just somebody who crosses himself and says all the right things for the
yeah, it's none of those kids would respect the non-binary sister's pronouns, except maybe Malcolm, I guess. Maybe Dewey.
Dewey would have. Dewey, Malcolm, but like Reese wouldn't have, or Francis would
Reese-
have like been like whatever
Yeah.
type stuff. And I think Hal would have been. I mean, I guess the whole thing is played up to the grand success of the whole thing is the reason why Hal is a good dad was how accepting he was of
the non-binary. It's weird because one of the things I wanted to see was like, oh, I want to see how Jamie turns out because he's a baby at the end of the show, and he's in like 2 scenes
in this whole 4 episodes.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Like you don't even. I don't know. You don't even really know him. Malcolm only has one character trait, and it's neuroticism avoidance. Like that's it. He had neuroticism in the original series, but he was also snarky, kind of pranky. He'd be dickish with his brothers and stuff. But in this, he's just panicky about everything.
One of the conceits of the whole first episode is the finale. The finale of it kind of sets up that Malcolm has to go on and be majorly successful, like top level judge level, world changing successful. And it was like the lore of the childhood of somebody who becomes really, really successful despite all that stuff. Do you remember her final speech to Malcolm?
Where she tells him to be the president?
Yeah. And it almost kind of like ends up like this is the lore of the wild upbringing of somebody who becomes really, really important in the world. And
But
and
no,
you have to toss that to the side. Well,
it was the pressure to be great that got him to avoid his family all those years.
Oh, okay.
Really, like in the final episode, Lois corners him and asks him why he's been avoiding, because like he's been avoiding his family for like 15 years. He has a 15-year-old daughter that his family doesn't know about, and she doesn't know about them.
Yeah.
And Lois corners him in the bathroom, and he says it was just too much pressure. He says, "You guys make me crazy, and I become a mean person around you. You told me I had to be the president, and that was so much pressure, so I had to avoid you." And she's like, "Malcolm, that was just a plan. It was nothing. You didn't have to do it. We make plans all the time and don't do them."
I mean, I guess it would be a good storyline for nowadays because so much of this world is the concept of elite overproduction, which is all these kids who thought they were above average gifted all through the world. And then they go through all these schooling things and learn a bunch of garbage at the university. And then it comes out and it doesn't pan into making, Elon Musk money. And then they just walk around angry and pissed off that they didn't become what they were supposed to become according to their.
Except that Malcolm actually was very gifted.
Yeah, super genius.
Most of those kids who I love it every time I hear someone talk about being a formerly gifted kid, like it's this affliction or whatever. Like any other formerly gifted kid, you're just trying to tell me that you're smart. That's all you're doing. And
there's just a bunch of studies Steven Pinker put out that they figured out from some studies that G and general intelligence, they've proven through some studies is heritable. So I guess even all those guys who tell you that when they were a kid, they were the gifted kid or whatever, they're telling you that they inherited that.
Wait,
I'm sure environment has something to do with it. But
we had a study saying that intelligence is heritable.
Yeah.
Just one of
is
those.
That your Scott Adams one?
Yeah. I feel like I can.
Yeah, just people just disagreed with it a long time, especially for the blank slate, which goes to. I mean, I think this one you gave us this meme this week. Don't touch that. That's a load-bearing delusion. We are blank slates is the load-bearing delusion, which somewhere down the line goes into all that sort of stuff. But I mean, like anything that we talk about, I think both the genetics and the environment play a part in it type of stuff.
I don't. It's environment plays much less part, but it plays a part.
Yeah, well, even like I grew up kind of believing blank slate in a bit, but then as I've gotten older and thinking about like just learning language, like a baby learning language, that's not. Maybe LLMs made me think about this. Like your brain has to be primed for that stuff.
language is 100% where I started thinking about it, because I studied second language acquisition in college, and it's actually Noam Chomsky who discovered and found that language is the hardware for it is pre-programmed, and how you pick it up is the software that gets loaded in. But then there's something about the hardware that locks. There's something, they know that there's something about the hardware that locks. That's why you can only become native level speaker up to like a certain age.
Mhm.
And then something locks. And I've had the long belief, I've spatted on here before, that something about people's sexuality has something to do with that too. Like you come in loaded with sexuality, but like if any sort of perhaps fetish or idea or something like that comes in as a youth, and then the reason you can't conversion therapy out of it so easily later or whatever is because it locks in the same way, or maybe around like the same time as language.
Well, that's what intelligence does too. Everything I've read on intelligence says that yes, there can be some environmental factors that play into like increasing your IQ above what it otherwise would have been, but it's not a lot, and it has to happen within the first so many years of your life.
Yeah. But yeah, language is definitely one. And then people have different capacities for it and all that sorts of stuff. But then obviously the software is what language gets loaded in there. But then obviously like what language you get and all that alters a little bit of how you perceive reality for sure.
Yeah.
But you know that thing too about like all the Chinese kids that have perfect pitch?
No.
Yeah, massive amounts of Chinese kids have perfect pitch because pitch is part of their language. And so way, way, way more Chinese kids have perfect pitch than I don't know. You'll find out from your son. I had a guitar teacher that had perfect pitch, but I don't know that perfect pitch is a blessing or not. Like it can, like when you're making music and stuff like that, it can drive you crazy as much as it can help you.
Yeah, he can do two. I think I've seen him do 3 notes at once, but yeah, I can play any 2 notes at the same time, and he'll tell me what both of them are.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's so wild. What's his name? Rick Beato.
Oh yeah,
his 2 kids have perfect pitch, and I think he worked on training that into them from babyish ages. Yeah. But I also knew this from like some piano performance professors that I spoke to. They had the same general concept when it came to becoming top tier performers on instruments. They're like, there's some sort of stuff. There's some stuff in here that if you don't start doing the language of this instrument from the super, super, super young age, you'll always be doing a little bit of the thing that you're doing when you're translating language when you didn't learn it as your primary language. Because one of the things you do when it's not your primary language is you're kind of constantly translating in your head. So you're adding that step in there. You're adding the thing that slows you down a second or makes you translate or makes you think of the one word to the next word. And I think that happens a little bit too in music. Like if you didn't just like put it in there from like the kid range, you're kind of always thinking like, where I'm on the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the type stuff. And
we taught our kids to play piano without the note names.
Nice.
See, we got Culch in the chat.
What's up?
He's talking about Project Hail Mary. I just finished the audio book, and I went into that one totally blind. So that was cool. I liked it a lot. And Morgan's reading it now, or listening to it now. And then we'll go watch the movie.
I'll probably just watch the movie. I never read the Mars one. Did you read the Martian? I saw the movie.
I never read The Martian, no, but I love the movie.
Yeah, I'm hearing good things about it.
I love Project Hail Mary. It was really good. The pacing was perfect. There was a couple weird little twists. And I told Morgan not to even watch the trailer because the trailer reveals a thing that happens and you have to, like, if you're going to do a trailer for the movie, you have to have that part in the book. But I didn't know about it when I read the book. And so,
I don't think I know, but I might know. I've heard enough, but I kind of hope to get surprised by whatever it is. So, but I'll try to catch that one. Netflix is rebooting Little House on the Prairie for a fresh take that blends family. Good old Netflix.
Where are they gonna harvest the estrogen to give to their trans daughter? You're gonna just like, I figured out how to take the female hormones out of a cow. I'll be injecting them straight into you, buddy.
So this statistic's pretty wild, and I think this is probably true of Hollywood writers and all that sorts of stuff too. Look at those bottom two numbers right there of publishing, people who still work in publishing. There are as many straight white men in it as there are trans people in the publishing industry. Like exactly the same percentages, which is wild. I mean, maybe the Kendyism has done its job now, type deal. And I bet you the straight white men who are still in it too are all 60 and 70s years old. They're the ones who made it through and pulled the ladder up, just like I know maybe all the talk show host straight white men. But yeah, those numbers are pretty wild. I don't know if do you want to get into? Oh, we got the RFM thing. Do you want to get into the RFM thing, or do you want to start talking mathematics epistemology?
We can do the RFM thing. I'm not in a hurry.
Okay. Epistemology. I'll work my way there. The Supreme Court banned, they say the Baltimore banner, Asian enrollment at Johns Hopkins is skyrocketing. Nobody can say why. It's like, come on. Everybody knows why. They're not only were they always smart, they always should have been there, is what the thing was going on. But you've got Asian kids. Are your kids white passing, or are they totally Asian still?
Mix. Half and half.
Half and half. So like if they went to a university like it was in the past 5 years, do you think they would have been discriminated against just for their appearance? Or
two of them maybe? Yeah.
Two of them maybe. Yeah. How are their grades? Are they good in school and all that stuff?
They're a mixed bag. Yeah. They got time to ramp it up. I think it actually might be the least Asian looking ones that might be a little better at school.
Oh, well. Who knows which gets pushed down more now. Those ones are going to have to get 4.0s, and the other ones have to get 4.3s. What are those additional points on kids' grade point averages they get nowadays?
Weighted. I think it's some sort of weighted grade. Like if you take a harder class or something like that.
I've always wondered like what the heck that is, but I saw this stuff of like all these Asian kids having like top level scores on tests, getting like 4.2s and 4.3s and not getting into these universities for a long period of time, which is what the Supreme Court suit was about. But not happening anymore. The load-bearing weight of blank slates, which Chomsky really kind of blew that stuff out of the water years ago, just starting with like the language thing. He knew that we weren't blank slates, like on the same level of development. But I think it's kind of funny because just today I saw Brittany Hartley talking about the Fowler stages of faith. Have you gotten into the Fowler stages of faith?
I've heard of that. It's been a little while. I'm trying to remember what that is.
It's just these stages, like they talk about, maybe individually, that people go through these stages of like true belief, and then it moves into more of a philosophical belief type stuff. He says there's 8 stages of them. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that she says in it is that certain people aren't going to be able to become atheists because of the stages that they're in. But that's what different people argue about stages of civilization. I mean, that's one of the deals that I've always been kind of bringing up here. Here it is.
What about
Fowler's stages? Most people will never question their faith. What's that?
What about the people who become atheists and then go back to being
that's
some
just
sort of faith?
That's just exactly it. And civilizationally, Ezra Taft Benson's cycles are more right than these Fowler stages of faith. That's what I'm talking about. Is like these Fowler stages of faith assume an eternal progression up to, we're just going straight to the philosophical moon, and all we're doing is getting more sciencey. And they don't presume that at all that civilizations go through cycles. Like it goes up, and that's one of the things I've brought up before that Toynbee and what's his name, Oswald Spengler get into so much, is that almost all the civilizations. Toynbee looked at something like 135 different civilizations, and they go through these Fowler stages of faith. And then what almost always happens is inevitably is collapse. There's collapse after that. And then some other faith that truly, truly believes in itself takes over. Let's see, the one, intuitive projective faith, early childhood images, mythical literal faith, synthetic conventional faith, individual reflective faith, conjunctive faith, universalizing faith, transforming process. Yeah, but all of it's just kind of saying it bends towards the philosophical, and the stages are only going up to this more and more philosophical idea of stuff. And then what? Collapse is what? No, they don't get to that. But one of the things she's saying is that certain people aren't going to ever be ready to leave their faith because they're not at certain stages. Yeah, well, certain civilizations never aren't going to get to those points, or it's going to be a long time, or they're not ready to take on our highfalutin philosophical discussions about epistemology we're going to get into later, or something like that. So Fowler's Stages of Faith. I haven't listened to her whole episode yet, though. Remember, did you pay your taxes? Remember to pay your taxes today. Did you see girl? And then she got called racist for saying she didn't like it. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of ridiculous. But I don't know. I guess it's people's cultures. But I like this. Mississippian, just in new analysis reveals Brits thought the UK ranked 7th against US states in income per person. It actually ranks 51st. So it's got her face there. Mississippians looking at how poor Brits are. That one cracks me up.
Yikes.
We'll come back to that stuff. So where's Jared at? So Jackson Washburn, we're getting into the RFM. I see RFMs there in the stuff right there. Jackson Washburn. Jackson, what to say about Jackson Washburn? Have you interacted with Jackson Washburn very much?
Have I?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know you've interacted with everybody on the planet. There's not is
really.
there anybody, like, we've come across like all the ortho bros and you've interacted with them. We come across all the Vanderclay people and you've interacted with them. And
I don't think I have interacted much with Jackson. Maybe like once or twice, but
you know of him?
I do from, I think, Steve Pinecker.
Oh yeah,
because Steve had mentioned like Jackson was the promised one that was supposed to bring evangelicalism and Mormonism together. He's Anakin Skywalker of Mormonism.
That would be the gayest fusion of religion of all time. That would be the worst. That's Hegelian dialectic there. You take the worst parts of Mormonism and the worst parts of evangelicalism. It's
kind of already happened a little bit, but
so I actually followed him I saw him pop up defending Mormonism with John DeLynn prior to going on his mission like years ago. And he just was like a young kid. It almost kind of seemed like Hayden Carroll or something popping in to chit chat about stuff and try to take it on. He seemed just kind of like a normie Mormon dude trying to justify it all and daring to talk with DeLynn about it. And I was like, well, good for that kid, just standing up for himself. This whole thing, I'm not read this whole thing, but he I guess it was Mormon Transhumanist Day. I don't know how much you guys have followed the Mormon Transhumanists.
A little bit.
Speaking of which, I get to it. Brian Johnson just had sex with his wife.
Oh, he did.
Good night, everybody. That's the type of text.
Oh, you gotta, because he's ex-Mormon, right?
Yeah, but he's trans. He's also transhumanist.
Okay,
totally.
I gotta send you a picture real quick because it overlaps with my love of sauna. So
okay, I'll pull it up.
Let me see if I can find it.
But this is him just kind of, because like any sort of like interfaith thing, he tries to connect them up and say this is he. I think he got this from his divinity degree, because no matter what the religion, he says it's rich. I hate that word. Like he's driven me to hate that word. Like the rich history of the transhumanist Mormonisms and the rich history of rich. That's rich. then I hear like all the same, you know how like the McClellans and all those people of the world go to the same schools, the divinity school. They all use the same adjectives too. That's why I say like they're the same type of sacerdotes, like the same ministry of just like a different version of like a religious sacerdotes. Let me see that. You sent.
Oh, Jackson. Surprised you haven't had more Jackson interactions because we bitch about him a lot. He's what some people might refer to as a pretentious twat. Jeez.
So this guy overshares about his transhumanist endeavors to live forever, and he's an ex-Mormon and just gets noticed all over. We've talked about him a bunch of times on here. He's the guy who measures his boners at night. And
I said it before, but like when this guy dies, I'm gonna be like,
yeah, it's gonna be funny.
Like I'm not happy you're dead.
Surgery he had to save himself. Speaking of which, did you see a clavicular OD'd on stream like two nights ago or something like that?
What a fucking dumbass. If it was a woman, I'd be sympathetic toward her because it'd be body dysphoria and I'd feel terrible. But it's a man, so I'm laughing. I too am a victim of the matriarchy.
I don't care about what he's saying about the transhumanists, although those are a bunch of weirdos to themselves. Those Mormon transhumanists, they've popped up on Mormon stories, and I think on with Pinecker and all that stuff. All the transhumanism stuff is goofiness to me, but and I actually looked a whole lot into them and listened to all their stuff, but they are weirdos. He just ball washes anything that's religious, I guess. But I guess I should go back to his story. He came back from his whatever, then his mission somewhere. Then he went to divinity school. And when he went to divinity school, he started, which he's dropped out of, or he said it's sabbatical or something like that, but he's completely dropped out of it. But he would pop up everywhere talking about that he was going to Harvard Divinity School. He kind of repeated it a whole lot, and he'd show up and he had a website.
Wow.
So we're not telling tales out of school because he tried to become kind of like a public figure, popping up everywhere, talking about his divinity school stuff.
Harvard, huh? That must be tricky to get into.
Yeah. Well, so it was so much of a thing that we started getting frustrated with him and teasing him about it.
Well, don't you remember pulling up the...
So we pulled up the acceptance rate records, and it's like 50% acceptance rates records into Harvard Divinity School. And I was like, I could go get in that school right now. I had enough grades in school. It's like, well, why don't you? Or something like that. Like,
because it's gay. Yeah. Why would I want to do that?
But like so many people use those divinity schools to act like they've gone through like high pressure major academic institution stuff, and it drives me nuts. The divinity, unless people are like using it because they really are into that stuff. Like I'm totally fine with somebody like that, but you can kind of tell when people are kind of using it as like a fast track to credentialism. You know what I mean? And Jackson was totally that way. But back at this time that you're talking about, we got into it with him enough online that it's just one of the things that I always bring about these things. Like this guy puts on the pious, polite dude, the deep thinking, rich tapestry of the religious, this, that, or the other. But he got into it with us, like me, you, and Flip. Do you remember that? Like he started calling us like every name in the book and all that stuff. Just like everybody, he gets as internety as anybody. He started calling me like a Chungus Chud and all this sorts of stuff. And well, everybody's like a little bit that type of dude, but it kind of drives me nuts when they have this persona of super piety kind of everywhere they go. So I'm talking crap on that right now. Those same types of things that used to drive me nuts on the mission. Did you ever have like a companion or something like that who was like the one who was the announcer of now we were going to bring the spirit? Like everybody's joking around, like we're all joking around. You guys, I don't feel the spirit right now, and we need to invite the spirit. But you were just telling the dirty joke 3 minutes ago, douche. But now you've gotten like all upset and angry, and you've announced to us it's time for us to get spiritual now, guys.
My MTC teacher tried to pull that on us.
He did.
There's a woman, and she was hot, and so the joke amongst the other elders was that her and I were supposed to get married after the mission. It was obviously a joke, so we're sitting there waiting for a devotional, and we had just had some personal interviews with her, and we're waiting for the devotional, and the other missionaries were like, Elder Higdon, how'd your interview go with Sister Dixon? And I was like, fellas, I think the wedding's still on. I'll tell you, she grabbed me by the tie and she said, Elder Higdon, there is nothing in this world more attractive than bad Portuguese and acne. And we all laughed, and it was a good time. And then the devotional ends, and the two just prude sister missionaries were sitting right behind us. And after it got done, she was like, "Elders, we heard what you just said before the devotional, and we were not impressed." Ah, shit, they're not impressed. Ah, shit. I thought it was kind of funny. You didn't laugh? Nope. So later that day, we're in class, and the teacher, she's like, "Guys, I don't know what's happening. It's just, I can't really feel the spirit right now. I feel like something's in the way. Like, I feel like some people in here have some things that they need to repent of. So if you guys just, in place of class, you guys go back to your corners and just pray and ask for forgiveness." And in my head, I'm saying, "Oh, fuck you! How dumb do you think I am, late? You really? They just went and told you. They're a couple of hall monitor Randall sisters. Like I know they told you, and your God told you about it. Oh, okay." And of course, I went and sat on a couch. I did not pray. I was feeling very spiteful, and come back. "Oh, I'm feeling the spirit again." It's like, shut up. The wedding's off, bitch.
That stuff drove me crazy. I mean, they say in politics, coming off of Carl Schmitt, like the person who decides the exception is the authoritarian. But it's also true of like the person who decides it's time to get spiritual now is the authoritarian in the room. And Jackson Washburn's that guy. He's like that guy who's just like, "You guys have decided now, right now in this moment, we're now going to talk about the rich history of the Mormon Church and the rich history of how it coincides with deep interwoven theories and thoughts of I don't know, all of his divinity school words that he would use that he didn't finish the divinity school. Anyway, I'm talking crap on him because he got like some position in California in the church as being like a community liaison. Do you remember that?
Maybe
He was some sort of community liaison. He started like showing up to all these like religious anti-ICE protests, showing up as like the Mormon attaché, the Mormon person or whatever, like showing up at these like actual like California interreligious events, and he was officially putting himself in there as that because he had some stake calling as the religious whatever person in that.
Hey, Mormon Church, little guide to help you out here. If you don't want your religion taken over by retards, start with not giving important callings or jobs to people who have their fingernails painted black. That's just a real quick rule of thumb, if you will.
Big Chris said up there that he had a guy in his MT who would keep praying after everyone was finished. Yeah, I'm talking about the same guy. It was that same guy who would tell a dick joke and then 5 minutes later announce to all of us he didn't feel the spirit anymore. We needed to calm down and out of the spirit and type deal.
Well, Big Chris is talking about me, but I was actually asleep. I was sleeping. I was.
And most Charlie says, "Oh God, the MTC teachers were the worst. The hot MTC teachers." Yeah, I had one of my first teachers in there was also a hot MTC teacher. And
dude, she was so annoying. She would have been so insufferable. She probably has left the church and is an insufferable Wokey now. Because I remember one day she comes in, she's like, "Elders and sisters, we need to talk about why we're here. I just heard something in the hall that was kind of disturbing. There was an elder and a sister talking. And the sister told the elder, 'You have very pretty eyes. And we just need to remember why we're here. We're not flirting with each other.'" I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, lady. Oh, God, you're so fun."
Anyway, I bring all that up because Jackson's been on a rampage, along with other people. I guess many different people have been on a rampage to shame RFM. And I think RFM has done plenty of shameful things in the world, but this ain't one of them. Nothing drives me crazier. I know I'm joking about well, maybe there is or not. I haven't tracked those, but this whole thing has been the most ridiculous. I wasn't even talking about this tonight until these guys made like the mountains out of all the molehills, and because I listened to this situation live and didn't think anything of it. And you know how we talk about weird and wild stuff happening around Mormonism. And I just listened to it and just thought it was a story about neighbors doing neighborly stuff.
Well, and Jackson worded it in the gayest way possible because I was totally unaware of this story. I saw the post, and it was like he went into their house and moved their stuff around. I was like, "What? What the hell, RF? That's weird, man. You just went in their house and like, would you move their couch or like?
I
That's
guess
some
he
creepy shit.
worded that more carefully
Yeah,
that
he
he could
worded
get
it
away with stuff.
carefully, and then I go
Because the other person, I mean, just to get into it, like,
talk
so
about rearranging furniture. Didn't somebody say rearrange furniture or something like that?
yeah, well, so first off, like, so there's the post over on the left. What's that movie called again? The movie where the two sister missionaries go to this dude's house and he tries to kill him.
Heretic.
That's pretty ridiculous to liken it to the heretic situation, because that guy like literally tried to kill two
I
sister
know.
missionaries.
What a twat. And he Spurg posted this everywhere.
Yeah, they cross posted it to every single ex-Mormon, Mormon, even all over the Mormonism live pages and all that sorts of stuff. And what's funny about it is nobody even knows about this story at all if RFM doesn't tell the story. Like, RFM told it all. He told it all the first time, and that's what launched the whole thing all off. And then he told the story.
Alejandro. He's the one that moved their belongings around in order to harass it. Alejandro, come on, buddy. Oh, dude. That is cringe. He put a pumpkin in their fucking house.
Anyway, I don't know. You want to sum up the story if you remember it? Kind of, my voice is going weird.
Okay, well, it's a dark night.
Stormy.
Stormy, even. Yeah. Actually, yeah, stormy. Some creep pulls up to the sister missionary's house. He doesn't live next door to him. He's far away. He just knows that it's the sister missionary's house. No, he's never met nor talked to the sister missionaries. He just has stalked them to know that this is their house. He sees that their door is very cracked. No, it's not blown wide open by wind. It's just very slightly cracked. And he sneaks, and goes up to the door. No, he doesn't stand there and yell into the door to make sure nobody's in there so that they know that nobody's in their house to keep them safe for later. Or maybe they're in their house and they kept it open on purpose. No, he doesn't do that. Instead, he sits there and he waits. And he opens the door. And he walks in. No, he doesn't just shut their door and go away. He stays in the house. No, he didn't just grab the pumpkin and just set it in the middle as a silly little joke. He moves their stuff. And no, it's not as a silly little joke to a couple of sister missionaries that he's had previous cordial relationships with, and he's helping out by shutting their door so a homeless bum doesn't get in. He's there to harass and intimidate a couple of, as I saw in the comments, glorified teenagers. That's what happened. And then he did close their door at the end. And no, he didn't tell him later that he did that. He did.
Right, if he's Mormon said, you're told it like Jackson. Honestly and reverently.
Yeah. I'm just here for the truth. That's what we're all about on this channel, you creep.
I guess to back up like a little bit, I know a couple months ago, it was somewhere around like the shooting in Michigan or something. Jackson called in to Mormonism Live or Mormonism After Midnight or whatever. And I think he was trying to call in like with a kumbaya message of, oh, hey, did you hear that I was the stake liaison to religious affiliations of, I don't know, whatever LinkedIn title they gave him. There's some sort of like a LinkedIn corpo title for it. And he called in, and instead, Bill really hammered in on him. They just started going after him about Joseph Smith's polygamy, like relentlessly. Like they didn't. We're not going to talk about whatever nice thing about, hey, given the shooting or whatever, we should all join hands. And like, I don't know if it was around the shooting. It might have been around Charlie Kirk or something like that. But he was trying to talk about, maybe it was around the ICE stuff. I don't know.
I do feel like if Jackson like came onto our show to try to do kumbaya, I'd be like, okay, buddy. All right. Yeah, I believe you. But I think he's more friendly with ex-Mormons than he is with Mormons.
By the time anybody comes on with it, we're nice to him unless it's Maven. But anyway,
I was nice to Maven. Okay, well, I was. I mean, she told me
you two beat up on Maven. I watched it. I'm going to tell the story of you two beating up on Maven. You went to her house and you saw the door open, the two of you, and you said, we could whoop this person if we catch her right now.
And she looked up at me in terror and said, are you a rapist? And I said, worse.
Anyway, so I think Jackson had a bit of
life.
because there was a bit of a kerfuffle the next day that Jackson felt that he'd been sideswiped when he called in on all that stuff when he was trying to do something else and it was inappropriate and mean and rude and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, so I think he's got a chip on his shoulder because of that. So he sees this thing and he compares it to Heretic and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, the true story, the actual story is they're neighbors. They live in like the same duplex or triplex or something like that, however you say that. He noticed their door was open. He was with his girlfriend. They tried to call for them to try to see if they were around. Noticed their car wasn't there. Noticed nobody was around. And they realized that they had to shut the door after they were knocking and calling out for a while. And then before they shut the door, RFM put one of their decorative pumpkins and spiders inside the living room and closed the door. So
that was actually even further context because Jackson Spurg posted this in the Mormonish podcast Facebook group, and Rebecca Biblioteca gets on there and she's like, "Oh my God, I was on the phone with him and he told me that their door was wide open." And I said, "Oh my gosh, go close it. That would be scary if you're a young woman and your door gets left wide open when you're not there." I told him to do it.
Well, he said that part of the neighborhood is like they'd even had like a homeless person walk in their house before in that area, just when the door was closed and that type of stuff. So they didn't want to leave it open and all that sort of deal. And I guess some of the lore too is he was on the phone with Rebecca Biblioteca on the job, and talking to her about it and telling her what's going on, and then put it down. Anyway, RFM came back and told that entire story on one of their shows. It might have been the newscast, or I listened to it live, and like I didn't think anything of it. It was just funny Halloween story or whatever. And then I guess for the past while there wasn't a big story about it until this weekend. RFM talked about it. Two different lawyers filed a bar complaint against RFM for doing this. Now, Risto, you had a thought that maybe there was some reason to be upset about this. Did you want to voice those concerns or?
I mean, I think being upset is a scale, right? So I guess one concern you could have, or one thing to be upset, was that someone was in your apartment, even though like you didn't know the door was left open. So if they saw the pumpkin there, you know, as a young woman, that might scare you that someone could get in your apartment. I think men and women probably read that situation a little bit different. But also,
yeah, I could see that.
It doesn't seem like a big deal.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, it wouldn't be. But part of the deal is like before this whole thing ever even happened, it had already been let known to those girls. They hadn't been upset at all. They hadn't noticed it. They didn't even have the desired prank joke that it had. And because nobody noticed, maybe they each thought one of the other ones brought them in or something like that. And no harm, no foul. But these two different people, I guess, from that Cavalry website. Do you guys remember hearing about the Cavalry website? Do you know about the Cavalry? Have you had any debates with the Cavalry, Risto? You've had debates with the Cavalry?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, we got to hear about this.
Oh yeah. Well, that was
recorded ones.
No, not recorded, but that was my first interaction with Mormon apologetics.
Your first interaction with the Mormon apologetics was with the Cavalry?
Like direct interaction, I think.
Wow.
So I was featured on one of the channels as like the dunce of the month for a while.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. You're having that back and forth with Robert Boylan.
Yeah.
That's right. And he like bring you back up like on one of his he brought you back up several times on one of his what was it, like his he had a blog or something.
Yeah,
on his blog.
Yeah, I made the blog too. Yeah.
So how did you get dunce of the month? You're doing Socratic questioning, weren't you?
Well, I took issue with something he said, and then I think in my taking issue, I made an error. So then that's how I became the dunce of the month.
You really had made some error. So
this but I even admit the error. I make lots of errors.
Mormon. Risto here's a never Mormon. He's a what? what your current denomination is
I think
non-denominational.
Westboro, right? That's
Westboro. Yeah. What did
Eastboro.
I always forget the name of the thing you grew up in.
I grew up Nazarene.
Nazarene. So it had a bunch of the same things as Mormonism. Like you guys
No
had
drinking, no
alcohol.
smoking.
Wasn't it even kind of more intense with like dancing and stuff like that?
Yeah, we couldn't dance. Yeah.
Wow. And so you're coming in. Was
Could
this
you-
when you
were
were
you guys-
actually being sort of like an investigator, sort of, or because
Wait, were you guys-
you've gone and checked out a bunch of different churches?
Were you guys allowed to soak though?
No, that probably would have been against the rules.
I couldn't have made it through high school without soaking. That would have been rough.
So do you remember what the error was?
Ooh, that's a good. It was like some minutia. It was like, do Catholics believe in formal sufficiency of Scripture or something? I don't know. It was really obscure.
Not something worth bringing up 45
But
times.
they said about, no, I don't think so. But they said something about Protestantism, and I don't really speak up that often. I probably speak up too much, but like when people outside of it just kind of say something just broadly, like there's all these like echo chambers of, even in the Mormon world, like if you talk about Calvinism, it's just not a very informed discussion.
Wow.
So
Boylan was also the one who claimed that Steve Pinecker was grooming missionaries because he took
them to lunch,
took them out to dinner or something like that. Yeah. And anyway, that's wild. So you came across like the actual cavalry group. You saw them called the cavalry and all that stuff at that time, or
no, not then. I think, what was it? I think Steve had said something about that around the same time. And then I just noticed different people. I think I noticed different people like messaging and commenting at the same time. And I'm like, oh, these people are like all connected, kind of working together, ganging up. I think someone even like stalked me and found like pictures of me and my like sauna podcast stuff. So,
jeez,
wow.
Yeah, I'm like, well, whatever.
That's pretty intense. So, I mean, that group, I guess, is like a group of scholar level people who say that they're there to help the average missionary be able to debate with people with difficult questions. Right?
I don't know about scholars.
I think they called themselves scholars.
I think that word is used pretty loosely these days.
Like Jackson Washburn scholars.
He's not a scholar.
He uses that word a lot. He's like the rich scholarly history of the divinities.
Like for me, scholar is like someone who's like, you got your degree, you're a doctor, in academia, you're publishing in your field, not just like someone who's like, I'm taking classes on this right now.
I kind of wish scholar would just remain more of a colloquialism than anything, because I know a lot of people with PhDs that I don't want to call scholars.
Yeah, well,
Sinatra says soaking is such a Jewish way of avoiding the rule.
Oh, the legalism, man. There's always ways around everything. Colt says maybe it was Divas Risto. He likes to pretend to be random members. I have a video that Divas put out later, and I wanted to review it because it's just Exmo Joe and that She Will Be Seen gal complaining about the patriarchy of ex-Mormons. I know she's talking about RFM and Bill. And I was like, I'm going to watch like the whole video. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is ripped by Divas on Divas' channel. It's not Divas' video, but it's on Divas' channel. If I watch Divas' ripped video of somebody else's stuff on his channel, is he going to copyright strike us again?
The first time I saw one of her things, like if you would have showed me her channel like 10 years ago and it was like, hey, I'm shitting on John DeLynn. Like, oh, hell yeah, let's shit on John DeLynn. I click on it. And like 2 seconds into the video, I'm like, fuck. Okay. It's just like, and there's not enough female voices in the ex-Mormon space. Okay, lady, look, you're just not very good at this. Yeah, some people are pretty good at this, and you're just not. Plus, you're late to the game. It's a very saturated field.
Yeah, she said that she she was given the platform to be on Bill's channel. She wasn't dropping his name, but we obviously know he's talking about it because that's the channel that she was on. And then they didn't give her the support after that. Like, what? Being on the channel is like all the support in the world that you need. You were put on a huge platform.
Yeah, did she say what support she expected?
Well, it was support that she saw that the boys were getting that she wasn't getting, which I'm sure is a technical term that we could totally falsify with.
Which boys are we talking about?
Well, it's there in the data. It's in the data.
Oh,
It's there. It's there in the data. Like there's for sure data that they helped the boys more than they helped the girls, even though they gave her the platform, a never known person before, to be on that, but she left them. And it's all problem of patriarchy. You see, it's a patriarchal thing, and then you realize the ex-Mormons are patriarchy just the same as the Mormons. They miss it. They miss it.
I will give. I will say, why did you guys give that idiot a platform? But also, I will kind of see that you guys did not blunder nearly as much as John DeLynn by, for whatever godforsaken reason, promoting Gen Camp.
You never know.
She was way worse at this than that lady is, and way more histrionic. So
there might be a statute of limitations on wild discrimination claims or something like that. Who knows? They're always coming. Anyway, all the way back to this thing. So 2 of those different guys, I guess, are lawyers from the cavalry, filed bar complaints on RFM for doing this, wanting to have his, what is that called? What is it called when you get stripped of your lawyerly? Disbarred, yeah. Wanting him, I forget what their names were.
Travis?
No, not Travis Anderson. It was, I don't think they're like major actors on that website, but they are part of the cavalry. And maybe RFM will pop on and say who they were. But they both filed a bar complaint. And then the first one added fluff into it, said stuff like snooped through their house and all that sorts of things that hadn't been admitted or corroborated or said anywhere. So RFM answered that and said, hey, he's saying things that never ever happened here, so that's not true and it's a lie, and he's adding to it. So I would like to counterfile harassment claim and that he's fibbing, perjury type stuff. And then he dropped his claim after RFM said he wanted to counterfile, saying I'd like to withdraw my complaint or something like that. Hayden Nix and Tyler go.
Whoa, let's be chill.
What's that?
Virgins.
Yeah, so is Hayden Nix and Tyler go lightly. Yeah. So and then the second guy, the bar just reviewed it and said, nah, nothing here. And sent it packing. Said no, not good enough. I don't know if RFM plans to file like the harassment thing. Anyway, all that was said and done. So whenever it was brought up that those guys decided to jump on the thing to go try to get him disbarred, they somewhere in this past week, maybe just also because RFM was the one who covered it and talked about the whole discussion, well, then Jackson goes and cross posts this everywhere, and Alejandro from Latter-day Lobsters, I guess, is posting around out there, and it's ridiculous. Like, come on, you guys. Like, pick better battles. You're picking. It's so ridiculous. Like going after this. I don't understand it at all. They already knew. I guess one of those guys, the Nix dude, had contacted the mission and had already heard that they didn't care and it was no big deal. And he posted stuff like saying that he'd actually done that. Like he showed his work of having checked up to see if it was an issue or something like that, and still just went forward with trying to disbar him. I don't get it, man. I just don't. I don't get like why make mountains out of molehills. I mean, I guess you jump on anything to make a drama scene about it or make somebody look bad or some sort of deal like that. I don't get it. Even like Alejandro, I wouldn't think Alejandro jumped on. Jackson, I get why I think Jackson, like underneath it all, just like when we got him to start calling us every name in the book and get as internet-y as possible, he's got something under there where he just kind of wants to get back or something like that going on. I don't know. I'm mind reading.
You'd think somebody who would see the absurd level of nuance you have to really reach for in order to try to defend Joseph Smith would be okay. Well, okay, this isn't a fight I want to pick right now. Do that. Put a pumpkin in an open door and then shut the door. All right, all right.
Alejandro saying several months ago, the host of Radio Free Mormon engaged in this behavior, publicly bragged, laughed about it, and then received a bar complaint in the mail recently, only to insist that he was the wronged party here.
Because he was.
Yeah. like get somebody just barred because they closed their neighbor's door for him. Oh man, oh man, oh man. There's Radio Free Mormon going after them about posting about being inside the temple. Maybe that's being a little petty, saying, well, it doesn't say actually inside the temple or something like that. But it's like the tit for tats just start ramping up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's saying that she used the word Mormon.
Oh yeah. I was thinking it was just saying that it wasn't actually a temple, because that whole video is about, I guess, the new center there has a place that you can forever go to and kind of see what it looks like inside the temple over in the visitor center. Yeah, that was the thing where I said, like, the Mormon temples. Did you ever were you into the Mormon aesthetic look inside of the temples type stuff?
I'm so biased because I just hated going to the temple. So I don't know, maybe it's pretty, I guess.
I mean, it's white and clean and all that sorts of stuff, but like the inside of it, I was telling you guys, like, it always looked to me kind of like liminal art, liminal space.
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna pull that up. Like to me, the temple aesthetic always kind of like looked like this stuff right here. Liminal spaces, liminal art. I don't know, even like a lot of the different Mormons I grew up with, like, they kind of decorate their houses that way, you know. But I'll just see if I find it. I'll show the video that she showed, because it just shows that, like, over in the new visitor center, which, by the way, I guess they're finally lighting the Salt Lake Temple now. People are excited about that. It's been a long time that it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Which I think that looks kind of cool, but I don't know. I don't know about the night sky stuff. Does the Salt Lake Temple make the night skies not show the stars? I don't think it does, right?
I don't know. I think that the smog over Salt Lake makes the night sky not show the stars, so it doesn't really fucking matter. Wade says, I hate the newer temples. If you go to the pioneer ones, they have character. Every temple for the last 20 years, we call them McTemples, because they're just like, just do that one. I'm not. What, you want us to hire an architect again?
Yeah, I think that's totally like a good point.
They used to look kind of cool. And sometimes they'd go out on a limb and get a really stupid looking one, like the Provo one used to be, like a sideways accordion or something. That one looked so dumb. But I don't know. The San Diego one looks cool.
Maybe I didn't save it. I didn't save her little video on that. But yeah, I mean, some of those little ones, the Manti one, didn't they strip that down and change it or something like that? But
I think so. They changed the Provo one.
Where is it?
I don't know.
Manhattan. There it is. It's shown again. Dr. Manhattan excited about the lighting of the temple down there. I think that fits Salt Lake. I mean, that's iconic for Salt Lake.
Yeah,
that's good enough for that.
I would be bummed if Salt Lake got rid of the Salt Lake Temple. I mean, I'm never gonna go there again. But yeah, it's part of Salt Lake.
So could you go to any temple? Did you ever go to the Salt Lake Temple?
Yeah,
I did once.
I got married in the Salt Lake Temple.
Okay.
Wow, man, how early did you have to schedule that?
I don't know, probably a while. I didn't exactly do it. I don't think the one scheduling this stuff. Yeah, that's where I went.
But you guys could go to any, like, if you're like, I want to go check out this temple, you could.
Yeah, you totally could and still can. They started getting to a point where they started saying, like, because everybody wanted to get married in the Salt Lake Temple, and that was like 25 years ago or something like that. And then they started saying, no, go to the one closest to you that's causing traffic jams, to try to pick and choose your temples like that. And
my brother got married in the Salt Lake Temple.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can ultimately push it through, but they try to push people to.
Well, you have to, like, schedule it out way in advance now. We got married in the St. Louis temple, so there's like 8 Mormons that live there, so it wasn't very busy. But
When you go in the temple, can you wander around inside?
not really.
No, I mean it's kind of true. Like they showed some stuff. I think some people showed the video. Like there's a lot of stuff where they say don't ask these like certain sacred questions. Ask them when you're in the temple, and then you get to the temple and you go to like that celestial room and you're supposed to be quiet.
Yeah,
You're only allowed to be there for 5 minutes. And you go, wait, wasn't that where we were supposed to? Couldn't we ask the questions in there? You know what I mean?
yeah. Cults brings up a good point. If you want to go to a temple, you can get one from You can get a recommend from New Name Noah. He just gives them to people.
Oh, does he still do that?
I don't know. He did a while ago. I imagine so.
It's not digital now.
I bet you
like
it's gone digital.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think it is digital now. So I don't know. It's getting like Costco. Your picture plops up. Like, wait a minute, Brother Cunningham is black. You're not black.
So you would
I stopped sinning, and my skin of darkness.
So when I saw
faded.
the picture,
Sorry, what, Risto?
Well, you would just go in a few rooms, and then
Well, okay, it depends.
and then
on what
you
you're
could
doing.
kind of go in the celestial room for a few minutes or something.
Yeah, it depends on what you're doing. When
Yep.
you're a kid, you can do baptisms for the dead, and that's like a totally different section of the temple.
Okay.
And there's more wandering allowed there. It's mostly if you do your baptism, you do your confirmation, and then while you're waiting for everybody else to finish, you go sit in the pews in a little mini modernist chapel and watch Johnny Lingo. But if you're doing an adult thing, you can either do an endowment session, which at the time I went, it was like 3.5 hours long. You watch the video, you do the garb, you do the handshakes, all that stuff, and it ends because you start in a room and then you go to the terrestrial room and then you go from that through the veil into the celestial room. And the celestial room's the only part you're not doing an actual ritual in. And you could sit in there as long as you want, like theoretically. And that is like the place where you're allowed to talk about the temple. But like Chris was saying, you got to be so quiet that you just kind of, I don't know, you don't really want to talk. And after an endowment session, you're ready to fucking go home because it's been forever. Me and Morgan did sealings something because she loved going to the temple, and I convinced her to do sealings because they're a lot quicker. And you're getting married on behalf of a married couple instead, and that's
So
quicker.
it's kind of like baptism for the dead, but sealing for the dead.
Yeah, so it's all for the dead.
You only seal yourself
And
once.
endowment. What's that?
You only go to the temple once for yourself.
Endowment.
And every other time you go after that is all for the dead.
Okay.
Endowment
Every
is
single thing you
basically it's a recreation of like what happened in the book of Abraham. It goes over the creation of the earth, Adam and Eve, and them leaving. And that's where you learn the handshakes. You put on the garb in the correct different
Is that like
ways.
making the main covenants?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
do
do
you're
that for
doing
yourself?
that for the dead?
Yeah, you do it for yourself once. And then
Okay.
every subsequent time you go, you're doing it for the dead. Any ordinance you do in the temple for yourself once, and then for the dead every other time.
That's kind of weird,
There's-
making
there's-
covenants for a dead person.
Well, they can accept or not.
Okay.
Supposedly.
They're hanging out in their spirit prison cell, and the guards come like, "Good news."
But if you
Somebody did
think
your
about
work.
it, it's like we would go do. You can do baptisms of the dead before you're older of age. You have to be like 18 or something to go get the larger amount of stuff, the endowment, and get married and that sort of deal. You could do the baptism of the dead as soon as you're like a deacon, 12 or something like that. We would go do baptism for the dead there, and we'd like each get dunked like 12 times each for them, like inside the temple.
Damn.
But you had to do a freaking 2-hour sit down for each one of those names for an endowment. Like each one of those names, you got to sit down and do a full 2-hour endowment for them.
Yeah, and then it's funny because I think they've done away with this in a lot of temples, but I know the Idaho Falls temple, what was weird to me, the first time we did baptisms, they have a cafeteria there where you can like buy food, which it kind of makes sense if you think about it practically. But for me, it was like, wait a minute.
Did those
They're
ever
weird.
get better? I haven't been there so long. Like all that was there last time I was there was like the sincronizadas and a peanut butter sandwich. Like I don't
remember.
Did they start putting like good food in there or something like that?
I really don't remember.
So there's 4 things that you do, right? There's the baptisms, then there's the anointing. Is that what they call it?
The initiatories. That's where they do
Initiatories. And that's
Right.
the one that used to upset people because you'd be kind of naked when you do it.
Yeah,
And
it
I
was
don't know that they
before my
do that
time.
anymore, but they'd put just kind of like a cloth, a sash over you, and you'd be kind of naked on the sides, and they'd sit there and put oil on like different parts of your body, just like little dabs of it, and say blessings for it. And you do all that before you go into the 2 hour or 3 hour thing. But if you're doing it for the dead, those anointings, I did those once for the dead. You can sit and do 15 of those in a row. So you don't have to do the anointing and then go to the endowment. You just sit there and do here's dab the oil, dab the oil, dab the oil, dab the oil around type stuff. And then you go to the thing, and then you do the sealings, and then you can also do sealings for the dead, right? And you as a couple can go to the temple together and redo your sealing. Well, but it's not your sealing, but redo that whole event over and over and over again. But it's for the dead type stuff.
Oh, look, they're drinking coffee. That's ex-Mormon right there.
Yeah, you want to know the things I noticed about this? Because like
That's not
before,
real coffee.
whenever the turn happened with Maven or whatever, but like Exmo Joe and Divas used to call in and get in on Mormonism Live and Mormonism After Dark so much to pump their own stuff. And then they bit the hand that feeds them. They just immediately turned on where they were going to get their free advertising for their stuff. But I don't know, let's listen to a little of it so to avoid the copyright strike demon.
Hey,
that is
I
Divas.
love this new platform that you've developed. Let's make it a family. Let's do each other's podcasts. Let's work together. Let's support each other. Let's go on each other's shows. And
One of the things doesn't make sense. I know that she did do the other podcast. She was on them with all that other sorts of stuff. You asked about the sash and the robe and all that stuff. You have temple clothes that you can buy and bring yourself. I think you can have all the you can get the whole collection.
Yeah, you can
let's
buy
show up.
them.
Can you get like initiatory clothing? Your own?
No,
Okay.
not that I know of.
Places together. And he was like, no, I gave you a voice. It's up to you to make it work. And I'm like, yeah, but you're the head. I need your support. And I saw him supporting the men that he had under his platform, but not necessarily the women. So it finally got to a break.
It's such a load of shit. You're gonna push back at all Exmo Joe, the guys you went on their show multiple times to pump your stuff on. You're gonna say, hey, do you have any data to back that up? Didn't you go on their episodes? I saw you on their episodes. How many times did those other guys go on each other's episodes? Do you have any sort of proof that he gave more support to them than the other? But on top of that, like putting somebody on a channel to boost them up way bigger is already way more support than almost anybody on YouTube ever gets for anything. Right?
I know.
But I mean, once again, it's like women are strong in the future, but you need to lift us up to be there. Like, no, make the podcast, do it, whatever. You know, look at us. We're we're patriarchal ex-Mormons. Where's our support?
I just can't deal. Yeah, I know.
We're supposed to be fed this stuff. We're supposed to be given. I was promised in 3,000 years ago that this would be the podcast of podcasts.
RFM, I was promised that you're a sexist, misogynist patriarch, and we're part of the patriarchy. We're not benefiting from you at all. Why don't you put our shit on your channel? We could be part of the family, and we could all support each other and leave out all the broads, just like you always do. Leave out the broads. I can't imagine the reflex to be given something and then get pissed off that you're not getting more.
I know, and yell and scream at him that it wasn't enough, and that you're sure somebody else got more when you're for sure not sure.
Just like somebody who's got like tens of thousands of followers or subscribers, and is like, yeah, you can post videos on my channel to promote yourself, and being like, wow, that's all you're gonna do for me.
So Jacob's been making the rounds on his debates there, and getting good showings. I see positive and negative views all around. You watched any of them, Risto? You watched this Calvinist one, Risto?
I think I saw some of it, but not the whole thing on it.
I saw it a bit. I mean, it wasn't the most interesting thing in the world, but that's because the Calvinist just said, you don't know what I believe. That's not what I believe. And that was 2 hours. And I'm like, well, let's get into it. Like, that's not what I believe. When Jacob's saying, well, you believe this. No, I don't. You don't even know. Good talk.
I haven't been impressed by James White's debate. Any debates of his that I've watched.
But I guess now this guy is going to be debating Bill Reel on April 24th.
Jacob won't stop.
And Jacob is not happy about it.
I haven't seen this. I watched a little bit of the thing.
He went on with Jay Dyer. He called Jay Dyer up.
I watched the Jay Dyer one, and like he sounded kind of clunky there. But in his defense, you're gonna.
It sounds like he knew a lot
about.
It sounded like he knew a lot about early Christianity stuff. He seemed
Sure,
like
I'm sure. I don't know.
Aquinas and the Trinity, and
it seems like to me if like I don't know, you get somebody. I'm trying like Joe Biden or some huge Democrat is like, I will debate any person in the conservative movement, and then the quartering steps up to the plate, and I'd be like, no, fuck, no, God, no, fuck, no, and I feel like that's how Jacob is reacting to this guy, but I don't know if there's no way that guy's quartering levels of bad, So I don't know, maybe he's a really smart guy, but Jacob's acting like he's not.
Well, one of the things that Jacob does know about debates is that you got to frame it right before you go into it, because you can have it framed already that puts you on the back heel.
Sure.
100%. And this guy's accepted the debate framing that will 100% put him on the back heel. It's like, let's have a debate of let's examine your beliefs and not mine type stuff. And that is like a back heel, but I don't know. At the same time, I'd still just be like, you're free to do what you want to do. Like, I don't know that I want to be telling people, don't do it, man. Don't take the bait back out.
And it feels weird if you're like, as an apologist, you're like, I'm just about the truth. But then it's like, okay, we always have to win the debate. Never take, like always take the offensive. Never debate a difficult topic. It kind of feels like you're not about the truth.
Make sure that you keep the framing of the thing you're the expert
right,
on. You know that you already know that you can get the leverage in it and have that situation type stuff. Yeah. Whereas, I mean, I generally feel that I'm not, maybe that's a bad thing, but I'm not married enough to anything that I wouldn't like waltz into a debate about it and be like, okay, splatter me if I don't know what I'm talking about here, because I don't care. I mean, I care, but if I'm wrong, I care about that too. That's kind of wild. It's kind of ridiculous that he's doing it. I don't know. I'm interested to see how the guy does. I thought he did okay against Jay Dyer, just in the sense of it sounds like he's done some reading, whatever he was. But Jacob says, look at the comments. Nobody's buying the comment. Nobody, no matter how well he did against Jay Dyer's debate section was not going to be friendly to him. And a while back, I tried to talk Jacob into taking the debate with Jay Dyer. And he didn't have it. Maybe that's probably a good thing, because Jay Dyer can have his ways of being a bit, I don't know. Do you think he's always good faith, or?
I think rarely.
I haven't watched
enough. Rarely. I've noticed that a whole lot, because I've seen him talk a whole lot, and one of the things I appreciate him about is sometimes like how he goes after Catholics. Like one of the things like him and Nick Fuentes debating, and he knows so much about Catholicism, and Fuentes has his weirdness about Catholicism. And I appreciated that Jay was able to dice up Nick Fuentes about his Catholicism. Does that make sense? But
yeah.
Then I also listen to he does like a whole lot of like, let's just talk about the fallacies and trip you up with fallacies, besides so much so that we're not even going to get to any sort of point here type stuff. But I don't know. I still said like Jacob, at that time frame, Jacob's picked up way more high level podcasts. So he's gotten like the clout. But at that time, he hadn't had it yet. And I said, well, going on with Jake, maybe start to get some
how many subs does Jay have? How many subs does Jay Dyer have?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe they're catching up now. Starbase says he's not a fan of Jay at all. Jay, when he goes after the Mormons, he definitely gets a chip on his shoulder and starts saying some wild and wacky stuff, and kind of relies on some goofy things.
Yeah, he's best with like political history.
Like, and almost kind of like CIA level Candace talking points stuff.
Well, yeah, I think he's better than Candace, but
yeah, better than Candace. But I mean, it's like, well, did you know that these guys got in with the CIA in 1950 and Nixon and the early whatever type people? And I don't know about that. But even if they did, there's plenty of people in Mormonism who might have gotten into intelligence, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they were tied up to the dudes downtown. I'm sure they have their own connections or whatever, but they didn't need some random kid to join the CIA to to infiltrate Mormonism are back or something like that. But then he leans heavy on the what is it, the Godmakers cartoon. He brings it up every single time. And yeah, Exmo Joe has been we already brought this up before, but he's got his his Candace level conspiracy theory too. And Candace has been getting there today. She just brought up Mitt Romney again today. Mitt Romney got funding from this guy who has some Israel connections, and it's this Utah Mormon connection, and I don't know yet, but I know we're getting there. I'm closer. Mitt Romney and the Mormons.
If it makes you feel any better about it, Candace, Mitt Romney's been effectively like socially excommunicated by the Mormons.
So this sort of thing, Candace, I'm going to talk about Candace. Candace has been driving nuts lately. I'd never hit a woman. I'd hit Candace. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
I never hit a woman. I'd never hit a woman. Never.
She's so stupid. But in that stuff, as Risa said, because a lot of times she's making connections to this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy and that guy and that guy, and the connections don't mean anything. But in that level, she's generally telling the truth. Like Mitt Romney did have some weird connections with some guys and got some money campaigned for some sort of financing for some things through Israel to back Bain, whatever. So it's like you can learn stuff about weird tangential people. It's just it's not leading to the things she's promising us.
When's she gonna get to you?
It's gotta hit us sooner or later.
All
of Utah, all of Texas, all of the military, all of Arizona.
I'm saying like you with all of your Chris Hannah Forrest Gump.
Oh, that's right. I should have like a connection with my.
You're gonna be on there at some point.
Yeah, who would it come through?
It's really
here's one. I've told you guys before. You know the kid in Jurassic Park who Professor Grant scares him with the claw on the belly in the Jurassic Park 1. The little kid who's complaining about their dig. He's like, "Well, that's not scary at all." And Professor Grant goes, "Whoa, I'll cut you with the knife right here in the belly, right there." That kid is a Mormon, and I was in the MTC with him. And he also claims that he was the original voice of Ralphie on The Simpsons, and I didn't believe him, but because it just ended up being the voice for Bart or whatever. But yeah, he's a Mormon, and he was on the same MTC floor as me, and we chit chat and talk after the thing. And he was a weird dude. It'll be through him. Candace can get to me through him. That's my CIA connection to that guy's got to be connected to Mitt Romney somehow. That's it. That's how she's going to get to us. But like in the process, she brings up Reese was talking about. There's plenty of weird money people. We said it before. It's like the Family Stone or whatever. What's that called? The Rhinestone, whatever HBO series I still haven't watched.
Oh, Righteous Gemstones.
The Righteous Gemstones. It's like there are a bunch of weird, financially funky people around that world, and I don't think she's like necessarily lying about every single one of those things. And that sort of stuff's like enough to bring up concern about. Why do they associate themselves with such?
Okay, well, so you know the game, what is it, 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So I had a manager, and she was the most knowledgeable movie aficionado I've ever met in my life. She loved playing that game with us, except for her version of the game was harder. It was connect 2 people who have ever been in a movie, not just Kevin Bacon. And
she could do 2 degrees of anybody.
Yeah, like I tried to stump her with something like Justin Bieber made a guest appearance in one movie. I was like, okay, Justin Bieber and I don't know, like Ronald Reagan or some shit like that. And I don't know, it was somebody from like the
was
30s.
Justin Bieber in a movie? Like it could be a famous person and you can still do it. No,
it's not that.
Or they had to be movie stars.
They had to be in a movie because you have to connect them through movies, right? So I did Taylor Swift because she was in her first movie at that time, Valentine's Day, and like I don't know, I can't remember which actor I did. The Mr. Smith Goes to Washington guy, I can't remember his name.
Jimmy Stewart, yeah. She connected those 2 in 7 steps.
Wait, give me him again. Jimmy Stewart and who?
And Taylor Swift.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she connected those 2. Like she could do anyone. So I think Candace realized you can do that with like.
Give me 2 of people that I would have seen a movie that they're in. We'll try it once.
Yeah,
because I've never seen a Taylor Swift movie.
Charlie Chaplin.
That's too far back.
Okay. Seth MacFarlane and Chuck Norris.
Ooh, that's good.
That's pretty good. Oh my god, damn it, damn you. Chuck Norris, Wilford Brimley. Well, that wasn't a movie, but they were in Texas Ranger together. Right?
That counts. Yeah.
Or Haley Joel Osment. We saw Haley Joel Osment with him on Texas Ranger. Haley Joel Osment. Who was the first person?
Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane. Haley Joel Osment to Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey's got to be connected to everybody. I got 7 people to get there because Haley Joel Osment, Kevin Spacey, and what's that Vegas movie what was that movie called? Pay It Forward. Kevin Spacey, or no way, that could actually be like Jim Caviezel.
How many things?
Angel Studios, Tim Ballard, Jeffrey Epstein. I did it.
Ah, fuck! You did it. Holy shit! Chuck Norris was in the Epstein files.
We connected him to the Epstein files. We did it.
I think the only scenario where Candace Owens is not so terrible is if she's working together with Erica Kirk on this stuff.
Like Eric, like she's being like a limited hangout for Erica Kirk.
Like Erica Kirk's in on the bit.
So, but how would that be useful for her?
Bad.
How,
well,
like
maybe they split because she's making tons of money.
Yeah, but it's got to be like sucking away from TPUSA, which she's now the sole owner of.
Maybe not. It's hard to say.
I mean, they had a pretty shitty turnout at their last event, I think.
But that maybe was going to happen anyways.
So they just
but I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm saying that's the only scenario where it's just not horrific. Like one of my best friends died recently. Like the idea of like going after his widow. That's like almost the worst thing I could do in the world.
She said on air today that Erica is going to soon write a book like O.J. Simpson's book, the If I Did It book.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're working together.
I'm starting to really.
I don't see how that could be.
I'm starting to really buy into the jealous Candace theory.
Yeah, I think it's either that or I don't know. If it turns out that there's some other story to that killing, which there could totally be a different story, Candace is not going to crack it. It's going to be some other thing. I would love it if it turned out it was a great big conspiracy and it comes all out, but just Candace didn't get any one of them. It was just completely
every single crackpot theory she's come up with was just wrong.
She threw all the spaghetti at the wall and it turned out to be fettuccine. All right. The Atlantic. In the last 3 months, the word faggot has been tweeted 2.6 million times.
Oh, man. I think
Thanks,
like 30% of those were probably me.
This is driving me nuts with podcast world now. Every single podcast, I don't care which one it is or not, sooner or later has a guy on it who looks like this, who I've never seen before, talking to us about how AI is going to end everything. And I still bother listening to the podcast and they don't say anything new at all besides other ones. We all know the ways that it could become dicey and problemsome, but why do we need some other random looking Silicon Valley dude with googly eyes to say it again? And there's a million of them. There's more of these guys than there are podcasts now. There's probably like 3 waiting outside my door. I could come sit them down in here right now and start telling us how AI is going to ruin the world. Sam Altman wants to transhuman himself, even if it kills himself. He would put his identity into some digital form, even if it cost him his life. Weirdo.
Let's get him to the front of that list. Yeah, but the irony is like AI could be the end of us.
Oh, totally.
From the mere fact that we've been writing movies and stories about this, that it's been then trained on, just like kind of some sort of like weird.
This is self-fulfilling prophecy.
So I typed into AI because I was going to add captions to that picture and say, put like 5 goofy theories that could be plausible of how AI will ruin the world. And then the 5 that came out, like, well, yeah, that's all plausible. I could totally all do it. Like a joke. I was like, yeah, I guess so. some major cybersecurity attack or something deciding that it need to get rid of the humans. But we all know that goes all the way back to 2001: A Space Odyssey type stuff. But whatever. Optimize for harm reduction long enough, and you end up optimizing for non-existence, the only state without pain. I think that is true. The fertility rate of U.S. liberal white women has dropped. Age 25 to 1 is 0.51 children. It's a death cult, spiraling death cult.
Yeah, C.S. Lewis would write about this. I think he wrote about it either 2 or 3 times. I'm reading one of his stories right now where like there's this character that transforms into like this spider-like creature, and he's on this mirror, but it's not a mirror, it's like a rock, and he's taken out every organic, anything off of the rock. So he's just like kind of this idea of like if we could just get past all the smelly, stinky organic stuff, we would be good.
Yeah.
That's back in the 30s.
Yeah. Well, and then who's to say an AI wouldn't have the same premonition? Starbase says in my tinfoil mind, AI has already started the process long ago as manipulating algorithms. Big Chris found that the child actor who plays volunteer boy in the beginning of Jurassic Park is Whit Hertford, credited as Whit Flynn. I think I brought him up on here before, but I think I've even seen like a podcast of him talking about being Mormon and I can't remember where he was going on the mission or not, but oh yeah, there he is. Well, there he is as an adult.
He hasn't been on Mormon Stories yet.
Not quite. Well, who knows if I don't know that he's ex-Mormon at all. I mean, he might just be Mormon. Maybe somebody can look that up too. But we're Hertford on Jurassic. I wonder if he still gets money for Jurassic Park. There he is. Look, that face. He didn't look too different than that. He was still short, like when we were in the MTC together. So that's how Candace is going to link to me and through that guy. He's got to be connected somehow. Brian Johnson just had sex with his wife.
Good job, buddy.
California passed the Stop Nick Shirley Act.
That's so
I can't believe they named it that. So now you can't look into that stuff, I guess. Moving on down the line. Oh, this Utah Democrat Senate guy got busted for all the way back in his timeline saying a ton of anti-Mormon stuff. And he tweeted out an apology for it, but nobody could see it because he already had them all blocked. This guy got kicked off the Chicago Bulls for being against the pride stuff. Chicago Bulls offered to reinstate Jaden Ivey if he will do some cocaine and beat a few women. NBA letting people have religious views. Ew. NBA, domestic violence in China. Yeah. Trump. Should we skip Trump? Do you want to go to the epistemology stuff, or do you want to talk about the Antichrist stuff in Trump?
Hi there, Juan.
Risto, you're on the time, and you got the name that we got to hit on the mathematics. Because did you work out like more of like your mathematical proofs?
I got it all figured out.
You got it all figured out. Do you want to go to that? Epistemology. This we brought up. Epistemology is the kaiju cat that stands above all other ologies, the studies of everything. Although Christopher brought up a good point that ontology is maybe on the same thing. I've seen people put it as like 4 things: ontology, epistemology. There's 2 other that are kind of like on that level of getting back at the roots of before what you're even studying. How do you study what you study? Type stuff.
And I think that's very true. What I heard someone say recently, Alex O'Connor had John Lennox on, who is a mathematician who also studied philosophy. And John said, maybe we should go back to the times when like everyone had to study a little philosophy at least.
Yeah.
In academics.
Methodology, axiology, ontology, epistemology. These are the 4 that it says. Maybe those are the 4 at the core bottom of stuff. Methodology, ontology. Yeah, I mean, it could be.
What are those?
Just kind of like the 4 ologies that start before you do any of the other ologies.
I know epistemology. I think I know ontology.
Yeah, ontology is just what is, like the study of is. So epistemology is the study of what you know. The methodology is like just the study of how you figure the stuff out, right? And then axiology is well, this one says it has to do with ethics, but we already know with axiology is trying to find the base bottom line of any sort of claim, right? Deals with the role of values and ethics in research, while sometimes replace methods in simplified models. Axiology is crucial in understanding how researchers' values influence the study. Yeah, so your presuppositions, I guess. The things that you put in place, which came up when we were discussing 2 + 2 = 4, because 2 + 2 = 4 already has some assumptions in it, right? And I'm going to pull up this this video because it'll set it off.
My name is Parker Smollett. My claim is 2 + 2 = 5. You did miss the instruction. You did skip right past it.
I don't care. I'm eager. Okay. Partner, where are you from?
That's really gonna fuck me up right away. I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Parker, where's your family from?
My mom is from New York City, and my dad is from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Where's their family from?
My mom's family are Russian Jews, so it's kind of hard to track after a certain point. My dad's family are Polish, British, and French, so it's very, very easy to track.
My take is not that your math is wrong. It's that you thinking that your math is correct is racist.
That's very interesting.
You think that your European LA ass knows more about Arabic numbers.
Sonny, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
Where's your family from?
Canada.
And where are their family from?
France.
Okay. And
Mine-
yours kind of stops at France.
It stops at France. And I side with centuries of Arabic scholars. I may be French, but I am an ally to that community.
Sonny, Arab. So that's beautiful. Let's give it up for allyship. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're all unify here. We are trying to learn. Arabic is the language. Arab is.
I gotta say that I like these trans people. Like they obviously have like a sense of humor of what the what their perception is. You know what I mean?
The like word for the people, or like the kind of scholars you've been discussing.
Totally.
Yes.
And yet you are still disagreeing with their years of scholarship, centuries.
Well, I'm disagreeing with you getting something wrong regarding racism. That feels actually kind of racist to me. We have I don't know if you've heard, but our mayor, Zoran Mamdani,
yes,
got rid of racism last January. So I don't know how I can be racist when he is our mayor.
Okay. So I just think that there are a lot of white transgender women.
This feels
How
like a
did you know
Kids
I
in
was
the Hall
trans?
sketch.
Yeah, I think they're obviously doing like comedy here, and they're being. I mean, it's pretty funny, and they're copying the 30 versus 1 from.
Yeah, it's surrounded, and this one they called Arounded, which is kind of a funny name for it.
Girl. There are a lot of white transgender women who like to think that because they transition, they can do no harm to other marginalized communities. And I would argue that your thinking 2 + 2 = 5 is nothing but an extension of that.
That's very interesting. You have yet to disprove to me that 2 + 2 = 5.
I'm not trying to disprove that 2 + 2 = 5. I'm trying to prove that you and your ancestors are rotted to your core.
Yeah. So, I mean, this all stemmed off of last week. We were talking about 2 + 2 = 4, and there was that professor, what was it, Carr? Oh my gosh, I forgot the name of it. I have it pulled somewhere. There's a Harvard professor who's going around pushing that 2 + 2 = 5, or possibly anything but 4. And a long time ago, James Lindsay did a long episode on the types of epistemology that starts to do that type of math. And then Risa said that he felt that he sympathizes with the concept that 2 + 2 does not always equal 4. And we were chit-chatting about that. In the middle of that, I started saying that he was using some postmodern descriptions for that, and the same types of things that queer theory relies on as far as like descriptions and things rely on. But we were going back and forth about that, and you said that you would make your case a little bit better here or more concisely, and we said, all right, let's do it. And that's why your title is Resto Math Queer. People might have been looking at the whole time, why do they got this math queer here? I don't know, did that set it up good enough or well enough or right enough?
I think so. Although the idea of me making a point more concisely, I don't think any of my friends, I don't think that's possible.
I demand it. I demand it, and if I am let down, I will.
Is math well, I don't even know where to go with it. I'm not sure if I'm postmodern or not. Maybe you can help diagnose that for me.
Well, those guys were doing like a little bit more of the political end of it, but
Yeah.
the original part of postmodernism, you can really kind of think of it as being an honest and skepticism of what epistemology is.
Okay.
And it's only like later, it's like at the end of the postmodern, it's not the end of timing because like each of them kind of got there, but it's like at the end of their argument, they would then shuffle in the social justice argument towards the end of it. Like, well, if all things are nothing and nothing's nothing, we should just always err to what Dan McClellan always says. We should always err on the side of the oppressed because nothing's nothing, which is a huge jump right there. But before they make that jump, all of their poking at epistemology has a ton of merit. I mean, they're poking at what is a base axiom, how do we know what anything is? A bunch of what Foucault would do, and it's the reason they call him like the grandfather of queer epistemology. Is I said it before, I've gone through like the beats, is he kind of go through history on how we just viewed different perceptions or different concepts through time and how our perceptions of those concepts just changed and altered over time. So if the concept is constantly changing, how could we ever even say that we know what we know? We're not just inside of what he called an episteme, which is just the right nowness of what we think all these concepts mean, and they're all just ever changing. And then of course, like later on, he'd go and argue that to the point of like saying like, so then how could you know, just to use like a crude one, but he really did argue for this stuff. Why is the cutoff age of 18 the big? That's been coming up a whole lot with the Epstein stuff lately. Why is that a universally agreed? Well, that's arbitrary. It wasn't arbitrarily placed. But aren't all of our things arbitrary? And if you think about it, he looked across all these different areas of society and went and said, why isn't it arbitrary how we conceive any of this stuff? Isn't it arbitrary how we conceive madness? Isn't it arbitrary how we conceive what is crime? Isn't it kind of arbitrary on how we conceive, love, sex? Basically, every single one of his books goes through the same beats. You can even go to Grok or go to ChatGPT or something. I've showed you guys it before, and type it and say, give me the beats of a Foucault book on a subject. And it would just like give out the beats, and it's like he'll go through what's called his genealogy of going through history of how our perceptions of the thing changed over time, and through the changing over time, what's to say what the thing is now, and say, oh, well, perhaps we can have a better thing in the future. And then down at the end of that is say, well, then for our kind of Marxist priors that we never admit that we have, we should always elevate the suppressed one, or the one that was the underdog, or the thing that was marginalized type deal. So later, when Judith Butler comes along and gets into queering, that kind of gets back harder into what you would call Plato's nominalism. Nominalism is that concept of we brought up here before the discourse on the chair. The discourse on the chair is I like this. I showed Riso the epistemology thing, and he showed that the tacoology and taco theology trumps all epistemology, and I agree with that. We are taco theists here. Riso's got the best argument for God. It's a Kalam's taco argument of the universe, that God loves us and God is there because taco. But this is the old joke we brought up a whole lot of, and this is what, going back to Plato, he was one of the first ones that started getting to nominalism through Platonic questions, Socratic type questions. You could ask, well, what is a chair? And okay, well, is this a chair has 4 legs? Well, is this one with 3 legs still a chair? Yeah, that's still a chair. Is this rock a chair? Yeah, that's still a chair. If I start taking legs away from the chair and I start taking wood, when does it become not a chair? And so it gets into the concept of how do you label and call things or name things, and isn't there overlap in these different areas? And the queer theorists took those concepts of categorization and categorizing and saying what things are, and giving like a hard description of all those different things, and said all of that has been overly stringent, just overly stringent. And then of course it's like later used to say, and we want to add this thinking to our categories of how we understand what gender is or what sex is or type stuff. But before it gets to that, it says that all sorts of concepts of overly harsh categorizing and overly harsh naming of any sort of anything is to some sort of level a top-down forced thing by society and only agreed upon and probably arbitrary. And a lot of times one thing can both be two things at the same time, kind of like arguing against like Aristotle's identity things. What are Aristotle's 3 laws of identity type stuff of like,
Well, the rule itself might be arbitrary. Like where we set the rule might be arbitrary, but like having a degree of gray area is not arbitrary. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like postmodernism is the logical conclusion of any douchebag that learns the word arbitrary and immediately thinks it's sort of
it
a
could totally be. But if
because
you
yeah,
think about
18 years old for the age of consent, it is somewhat arbitrary. But having an age range where you're not allowed to do sex stuff with these people, that's not arbitrary because of a lot of. I understand he goes into the whole like, or you're denying the kids their sexuality. Like, yes, I am absolutely. Sure, it's arbitrary, but you can't bang boys that are under 18. How about that, Michelle? You know what?
So then going back to that joke thing, like those guys are really, they're joking on what those activists actually think. But they would say to you is like, you only think that way, Jared, now because you were raised in this episteme that views that as bad. And you want to force down your perception that was arbitrarily arrived at for, I mean, they would say stuff like that.
And
the
only answer to that is, okay, fine. We're sticking with it though.
Let me just to kind of round it out, because I mean it goes on and on with like all these different philosophers, but I think you can kind of sum it up. And like it started all the way back in Plato, because he was the first one kind of asking these questions. People asked it for years. It's actually not even really that new, as we've ever said before. It's just actually Pajot just had a really good episode today on modernity and postmodernity. I don't even really view the difference. And this is where Stephen Hicks used to get in trouble, because he wrote that big book on postmodernism, and he says it starts all the way back with Kant. And people are like, Kant's squats, we've put Kant in the category of modernism. We've done that category. You can't call him postmodern. But no, Kant was the first one who started critiquing Kant's whole thing. And maybe he was doing it because he was more pushing for the pre-modern, because he wanted to keep God and those concepts around. But he was the one who started questioning of the critique of pure reason, of saying like, maybe your 5 senses aren't good enough to get at what's all kind of actually out there. And so it threw in that skepticism. So it starts all the way back there 250 years ago in modernism. And even Hume got into these types of questions and that sort of stuff. And any philosophers worth their salt kind of did. But anyway, just to get up to these guys, the ones who really like pushed it to an extreme, and Jared and I talked about, like, these guys are the ones who just like, you've taken those things that everybody's kind of thought about a little bit, but then you've taken it to the supersonic extreme. And I mean, I kind of teased you a little bit, like you're being postmodern queer, but I mean, there's a little bit of a sense of that, of like, maybe if you can find like one little outlying thing that does a thing or not, doesn't like discard every single like whole entire category. But beyond that, so you just have Foucault, who started with the whole general concept of maybe all the things are arbitrary. Then Judith Butler started queering the categories, or queering the naming and labeling of things that we perceive in natural world and law, and largely sexuality. Then you had Derrida, who started doing it with words. And everybody didn't see them forever, but like they go so extreme that it's like no word can actually be categorized or pinned down to ever fully mean anything for forever. And that's like where deconstruction comes from. And then maybe like Lacan did it like a little bit with psychology. Like you can't pin down what anybody's ever actually thinking or feeling or doing all the whole entire. And those are like the three, like the most major names in that stuff, who started getting into those levels of just taking great big stabs at epistemology. And this is kind of one of the things why I would say I would want to take these critiques, the critiques of these postmodernists who become the most popular thing in colleges for the past 30, 40, 50 years, especially in the humanities, and take it to Colby and say, because Colby is the one who's pushing for square in the modernism Enlightenment philosophy. And you need to be square in that modernism Enlightenment philosophy to kind of take down religion, right? Like that episteme, to use Foucault's word, of the square Enlightenment, we're just sciencey, hard, only rationality philosophy. You kind of need to oppressively, to use their words, say we're going to do that to take down not only religion, but not only does it take down religion, it also should attack the postmodern philosophy that's being used to say who's to say, what's to say, what's to say, who's to say, because it's more linear. It's just more super linear and supposedly based in science and rationality and axiology and all those types of things. But you see it so much and it's one of the worlds like where the atheist movement kind of fell apart and all that stuff, is because they were ready and willing to take that stuff up against the religious people. They could just do it because the religious people were nice and going to be nice, strangely enough. Maybe not the Islamists, but they ultimately were too, because they could say it to Islam. Well, I mean, up to a point, maybe if they weren't in their countries, but they suddenly couldn't say it at all to the ones taking it the other direction of saying like, who's to say, what's to say about what your perceptions or categories or names or words are of anything. And if they started using it for some sort of social justice reason or some sort of altering of society reason, they suddenly, well, we won't go there, we won't touch that, we're not even like look at that. That's why I say kind of like the calls coming from inside the house, because that stuff became most popular over at universities. They just ran rampant with that stuff, and the hardcore mainstream modernist Enlightenment people didn't. Some of them did, like, you know, James Lindsay and Boghossian did, but most of the other atheist people just jumped right on board with like, oh no, yeah, you know, we're gonna debunk the Book of Mormon, but we won't say a thing about men having babies, you know. So, but that's, I mean, I think that's as well as I can sum it up the entire thing. But anyway, gets back to the 2 + 2 = 4. The hard Enlightenment view is being like, nope, that's just a hard solid axiom, like proof thing. And then you start saying, well, no, I think there's ways in areas where it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know as much about the philosophy side of things. I think I had said that before. So I have a suspicion.
I think you know more than, but I mean, it's good to be humble, but just to pump you up that you do know more than
well, I want to be realistic, you know, like if I haven't read the stuff, I don't want to pretend like I know the stuff. I have a suspicion with these people.
I've read all the stuff, and that doesn't mean I know the stuff.
Right. Well,
like so much of it I just charged through, and it's like, yeah, I read the Old Testament too. Like, can I regurgitate it to you? You know what I mean? But
I feel like a lot of this stuff in the philosophical world, whether it's modernism or postmodernism, I feel like there's an aspect. What's the meme with the bell curve and the two ends?
Just the smart and the dumb are saying the same thing.
High IQ, low IQ.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what happens with philosophy is like, I want the postmodern people to go further.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like farther way over on the other end is kind of because philosophy questions, no matter which philosophy it is kind of questioning things. And they question different things. But then you need like to pair that with some humility to question your own questioning. So whether that's the modernism or the postmodernism. So for me, for the math stuff, I'm coming from someone who really loved math growing up. I did well at math. I studied it in college just for fun. But then as I started teaching my kids, that started like my journey of math deconstruction, where I realized I didn't really understand very much of math at all. Like, I feel like, you know, like Jared, you're younger, so maybe your math education was different, but Chris, yours was probably very similar to mine, where like we start with the
Jared went far into math. I think I I did stronger math classes in college, but nothing to ever impress anybody. I think Jared was doing the stuff I was doing by high school.
Okay.
Well,
But like our growing up, like we start with math is like very much tied to the world. Like 1 apple plus 1 apple equals 2 apples. So it's like very concrete. But by the time we get to second or third grade, we divorce from the real world mostly, which is like people's big.
Well, I'm
complaint
still
about
trying to
math.
find what X was. They never told me what X was.
Right. So
They tell you what was X that whole time? I'm just kidding.
so my critique of just saying like 2 plus 2 always equals 4 is you're like we're saying that like as an abstraction, like 2 plus what? 2 what's plus 2 what's. And
2 anything plus 2 anything.
So that's
right?
where we got like that's
Yeah.
where we got into like a bit of debate. Like, isn't that
So
kind of
I missed most of this. I was in a secure area, so I couldn't have my phone, and then I didn't catch up on it.
But isn't that baked into the presupposition that you're adding 2 like things right there?
I mean, you can approach it that way, but that's not you can state that you can say adding 2 like things, but that's not how science plays out. I think I brought up some chemistry examples.
I did see that. What were you saying? Like you add one compound to another compound, and it might
Volume,
start out
yeah.
with 2 milliliter, and the volume might increase.
Or decrease.
decreases. It's the same mass, but it can decrease in.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was gonna say it doesn't increase the mass; it just increases the volume, right?
Well, if you add,
it said that I read some stuff on it after you like brought it up that it pulls on like the molecules so they can be like different.
Yeah, so you're increasing volume. Like you can increase volume of, like you can decrease the volume of air in an air compressor, or anything. It doesn't change the mass.
no, it
Now,
was
bigger, small.
adding 2 milliliters of one substance and 2 milliliters
Two
of
liters
another
of water and
substance.
2 milliliters of
So it's
ethanol.
yeah.
Makes slightly less than 4 milliliters. And so
Right.
his question was, did that make 2 plus 2 equal not 4?
Well, I guess my take
But
on
here's
math,
another question. Can
Yeah.
1 milliliter plus 2 milliliters as a measurement ever not equal 4 milliliters as a measurement?
1 plus 2.
We're talking about the measurement. Are you sure that measurement is stable forever?
Well, no, I'm not sure because science is not like, I think if I understand the like proper epistemology of science can say we have seen that the world, the universe seems to function this way, and this is our understanding of it, but it doesn't have the epistemology, and we can say we think it will act that way tomorrow, but it can't say we know it will act that way tomorrow.
Well, kind of. I don't know. Your chemical reaction kind of makes me think of. Are you familiar with the term mass defect?
I don't think so.
It's an atomic term, and it's basically the idea that the sum of the parts of an atom have a greater weight than the atom itself, right? So if you took apart like a uranium atom and you weighed all of the protons, neutrons, and electrons, they would weigh more than if you bound them all together. But it's not so much that 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 4 in that scenario, because some of that mass is converted into energy, because an atom needs to have binding energy, because the nucleus is full of protons, and protons all have a positive charge. So logically speaking, they should be shooting off from each other. They should be able to stick together, but there's the binding energy. So that extra weight, I guess, is converted into energy to hold the nucleus together. So there are like chemical reactions and things like that that can sort of, convert mass to energy or change volume. But like if you have chemical A and chemical B, 2 milliliters of each, and you add them together, and all of a sudden you have 5 milliliters, that doesn't so much tell me that 2 plus 2 equals 5 as much as it does, because you still have the same number of. It's still
But that's what I was going to say. Because wouldn't you say like the question of The 2 water and the 2 ethanol did not equal 4 milliliters of, but in that sense, it's AA plus BB, right? Like even just going off of like, sure, it's not the same amount of milliliters, but we aren't adding like things right there.
Right. Which is, I think that's part of what I'm saying is that 2 plus 2 equals 4 only becomes significantly meaningful when we tie it to a context, when we tie it to the real world. The idea that like it's, and I'm not really sure that it is baked into it that you're always adding the same thing. That I'm not totally sure about that. But you could say, given that you have 2 like things, when we add them together, we will get like 2 and 2 of them, that we would get 4 of them.
But that's when I would say that it baked into the assumption is that the thing is the concept right there. Like things is so now we have 4 things, but we don't have 4 bananas. We have 2 apples.
But I don't think math doesn't always work that way. So for instance, like you can like finding the area of a square. You start with one side, which is a measure of length, and then you do the calculation on it. You square it, multiply it by itself. But in the process of doing that, you convert it to a different thing. You convert it to square. So if it was 2 inches, you convert it to 4 square inches, was like 4 little squares. So it didn't like stay the same.
You altered it by labeling it?
You altered it by, how did you alter it? Through the math, through the squaring part. Like it became a different thing because the units matter. It's like doing chemistry. If you get your units wrong, your math doesn't work.
So okay, do the square thing. You're saying in order to find, you're talking about finding the area of a square.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm good. So I think you're not even coming at this from a postmodernist framework. You're coming at it from, because I don't know, your chemistry example, that's not like a postmodern thing. Philosophically, does 2 plus 2 really equal 4 always? This is just like a physical thing. Well, I had 4 milliliters of volume. Now I have 5.
I guess maybe the postmodern thing would be to treat math like a language, potentially.
The postmodernist thing would be to tell you that you're a colonialist bastard for using milliliters as a unit of measurement.
No, but I mean, that's what I was saying is like initially the postmodern thing, before they got all the way to that and political statement, is just the question mark of, can you change the thing just by labeling it differently? I mean, that's what Judith Butler is doing. And then of course it's got that political element in the end of it, that you're being an oppressive if you don't let her type stuff. But she's starting with the concept of, just by calling it different things or labeling it different ways or measuring it different ways, do we make it actually a different thing? Because that's inherent in queering, right? That's inherent in what they're doing with sex bodies, right?
Right. But I think math does more of that than people realize, especially if you get into the advanced math.
So I would say if you would transfer that over to what Judith Butler is describing with the sex stuff, do you think she has a point with some of those things that she's labeling out as possible reevaluations of what it is you're looking at or categorizing?
I don't know. I think I am taking a different tack than her. I feel like mine is not so much reevaluating as I feel like we haven't evaluated well in the first place. So I think, because I give this problem to all my friends who are like very well educated in math, mechanical engineers, they studied a lot. I'll give them like a 3rd grade math problem and ask them to make a word problem that illustrates that very simple math problem. And so far, only one person's been able to do it, like just at their first go without using AI, which is like 2/3 divided by 3/4. So they can all calculate it, but there's like hardly anyone that's gone through our math curriculum that understands what's happening there. So that's what
You said
2/3.
2/3 divided by 3/4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyway, go on. I just didn't hear the.
But just that math becomes abstract, and that we actually don't, like, we think we understand it, even the basic math, and that's the thing I'm questioning for people. And what was I thinking today? I was thinking, like, which is more fundamental, math or physics?
I guess, well, Flip sort of jokingly asked what you meant by fundamental, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what I would ask too, because me and Chris both said, well, physics, but then my thing was, what did I say? I was like, that's sort of like asking what is more fundamental, the waterfall or my eyes, because the waterfall is a thing that exists in the physical world, and my eyes are the tool I use to observe it. So the fundamental, like, physics are there, and then math is like, it's our way of observing and experimenting on it, right? Like testing it and
Describing it.
Yeah.
Because there's another perspective, I guess, is that math, because I've always heard math is more fundamental. Like, math is some sort of set of laws that then physics falls in line with.
It's a measurement. It's a measurement, right? Math is a measurement framing, right? And so physics is what's being measured by the math.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I guess I don't know the answer to that one. And it's a little bit off track anyways. But I'm not sure 2 + 2 = 4 means anything until we tie it to something in the physical world.
So I kind of just feel like it's a fundamental existence. Like,
well, I mean, that's where that thing started. As I was saying, it's just an axiom. It's just always true. And then Rachel said, well, but it's not always true. And so finding like the edge cases. But one of the areas where Risto wouldn't be a postmodernist is that he would say that that's mostly true most of the time. I'm sure, you know what I mean? Or would you not? See, he's stopping and thinking about it. He's gone full postmodern philosophical brain.
I think if you tie it to something, then I can answer the question.
I mean, I guess just think of the things you could tie it to that would make it true, and the things that you could tie it to that would make it untrue. How often is there, which occurs more?
Like, if you're saying like adding like things, then I'm probably with you. Adding like physical objects.
Okay, well, and
what about measurements? Like the measurements almost always.
Well, it's
two of one measurement plus 2 of the same measurement equals 4 of that measurement.
So if we're talking about foundational things, and I would say in terms of measurement, mass is more foundational than volume anyway. Like, volume matters when you're talking about, like, I don't know how much fuel to put into something. So if your fuel that you put, if you add a component A and component B, you mix them together, and that's your fuel, then yeah, you have to take volume into account because there's a certain amount of space in the tank and maybe in your beaker or whatever. But the fundamental building blocks of that would be the mass, and you adding those two components together doesn't really change the mass; it expands it.
Most Charles says our concepts such as base 10 system that tells us that abstractly 2 + 2 = 4 are part of the physical world. I mean, I think that's all concept, right? But then you can use it to observe things that are true in the physical world from there.
I guess
But
you,
the math,
you
but
could
the
say
math
they
is
exist
conceptual.
in our brain somewhere.
I think they exist in the world, and our brains observe them.
Like the base systems. What about
Well,
like
not like base 10. Like base 10
Right.
is like our unit of measurement. You could do it in different bases, but what they represent in our language exists in reality.
See, but so if we go to like your even just the water, like go back to the AA and the BB, it's like you're adding two different things. So in my mind, it would be AA plus BB equals AA BB, right? But is there four things there? So four, which is even kind of weird in chemistry because when they bond together and become one thing whenever you just add them together. But AA plus BB put all together, it could be four liquids, but like at that point you're doing thing, and at the end of that you have the four things together. I mean that
Well, it's
it
kind
still
of
just like holds true.
if you look at it from that frame, but you are imposing a little bit on that. Not that I'm like calling a foul for that, but it's not just like a basic any 2 plus, like 2 plus 2 equals 4, no matter what frame, no matter what context. Right? Like you can say, okay, we're going to just consider mass or just
I
consider
think that's
things.
inherent in the supposition in the thing that with four different things, and you're slotting them into things. If we're just using like a pre-calculus type system of X, A, B, C, D, and if they're like or not like, you're still just, if they're able to be added together and not held separately,
Yeah.
they're assumed to be like.
Yeah. And I think when we were talking, I said, well, if we phrase it that way, I think I'm pretty much on board with that. Like if we unpack a lot of it.
Let's use this new band here. We'll get postmodern with rhythm here, right here. This new band everybody's all crazy about, and Angine de Poitrain. I don't know if we'll get in trouble for playing this.
So they start with this guitar melody that's 24 beats long. And 24 can be thought of as 4 groups of 6 or 6 groups of 4. But they start out by grouping it as 4 groups of 6 by having the drummer play a 6/8 beat. Then, in the middle of the song, the melody stays the same, but the drums switch from counting by 6s to counting by 4s. So it's the exact same phrase, it's just been grouped differently.
It's still hitting just as many beats.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like it. What about things like sound waves or in energy?
What do you mean?
Adding those kind of things together, do they always equal like two? I don't know. I didn't do well at physics.
I didn't really ever do many.
I don't know that I had like ever a physics only class. I don't, so I guess I didn't get far at all in that. But I mean, I've toyed around with like the basics of different things, like the easy tests of physics type stuff, the ones that what Mr. Wizard had him on a show type stuff, Bill Nye back before he got postmodern.
Yeah. Well, our physics teacher would like sleep during class, so it was super easy, but I never learned anything.
Do physics exist if the teacher sleeps? Is it even happening, folks? Is it even going on? Woo. I can question, I can doubt, I can deconstruct everything. I can deconstruct things that are true.
The whole word game thing, I think I first realized I hated word games when my teacher asked that. If the tree falls down in the middle of the forest and nobody's around to hear it, did it make a sound? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, no, because sound is actually the reaction that your ear has with the sound waves. Yeah, but the sound waves still happened, didn't they? You're like, yeah, but sound didn't happen. No, it has. No, I just didn't hear it because it didn't make the reaction. Shut up, Dick.
But so here's the ultimate thing: is the conceit, and I've talked about this before. It's the beginning of the movie Arrival. I wish I could find the scene, although we probably get dinged for it. But the whole beginning of the movie talks about there's like this showdown standoff between the scientist and the humanities professor lady, the lady who's there for language. And he says, science is the basis of math and the basis for all things. She goes, no, the languages and all that type of stuff. And then the movie like goes all the way through like what I would think is like the full postmodern fantasy is it gets to the point that they realize that they can language so hard that they can do almost anything into the world with it, even to the point that those words become magic, right? And that's honestly like what humanities believes about what's going on there. But if you get really at the root of what Judith Butler and what these Foucault and all these guys are saying is that through the power of language and labeling and naming things and categorizing things, that you can actually alter what it is you're actually looking at there, or what you're conceiving or what you're perceiving in the world type stuff. And it sounds a little bit like you're leaning into that, or one of the concepts it could be is like, maybe you're just not looking at all the different ways the thing can be grouped together. Maybe a little bit like this song that we're talking about here. But I mean, I think all the different ways of grouping the thing is just part of like the base mathematics that you can root in hard axioms of Enlightenment modernist thinking type stuff. But I don't think it actually changes the thing that's being conceived of, just the way different ways you divide it up or add it together. Or
yeah, well, I'm not sure I believe in hard axioms. So I think axioms can be questioned.
Well,
sure.
Yeah, they can, but like, I don't know.
They obviously can. I mean, it's one of the things we talk about, especially like when it comes to things of the humanities, like when it comes to what morals are, or where the base of some sort of thing is, like, is there objective morality to the universe type deal. But that's where I think they do get more solid when it comes to things like mathematics. But it wasn't you who's even like kind of pulled up some of the things that you think are hard axioms. You think there's a couple of them out there. What's that guy who you brought up? It's not Lul. It's
well, I mean, there's Euclid, but
yeah.
But they questioned his axioms, and
that ends everything. As soon as Foucault pops up and says, "More you sure about?" and that's
yeah, people came up with non-Euclidean geometry. So, yeah, it doesn't. But non-Euclidean geometry didn't invalidate all of Euclid. So mostly, I can't remember if one of you guys said it. I think my big critique is mostly about how math is taught.
Well, yeah, I don't blame you for that.
More than anything.
But also, I think I would have liked it a lot better if it wasn't taught by shitty high school, public school.
Well, you're saying like you can figure out how to plug in a problem, or you can understand that a formula will get you the result that you want, but you don't understand why the formula exists in the first place, like what it's actually doing, right?
Right.
Hey, man, like some of that stuff, I wish it was like I was a kid in the modern era, although I don't often wish that. But like when you see some of those memes that can meme out how a formula works and changes in movement in the thing, you're like, oh, that would have been so helpful when I was trying to picture that with like my graphs and papers and the TI-85 instrument that went so slow type stuff.
Well, I remember the first time I learned about like calculating the radius of a circle, and I don't remember how old I was, but the teachers, it's pi r squared, right? Or to find the area. So you take the radius, multiply it by pi, and then like, what's pi? Like, oh, it's this number, and it has decimals, never-ending decimals, as far as we know. And I was like, oh, why'd they decide on that number? And he was like, well, they didn't decide on it, they discovered it. I was like, how? And he's like, I don't know.
Do you ever figure it out?
No, because I was profoundly uncurious when I got older. So
well, I can answer this one.
Well, go for it.
It's the relationship in every circle between the length of the diameter and the circumference. So
Okay.
whatever the diameter is, the circumference is just pi times larger.
That seems like it should have been pretty obvious, actually.
Yeah, your teacher.
now that-
Well,
Now that you say that, I'm like, oh, I should have just been able to realize that.
It
well,
looks like
I didn't know
reverse
that until I
engineer-
started teaching our kids. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, just reverse engineer the equation, and it's duh.
it looks like Charles there knows about the measurements and waveforms and that sort of stuff. We should have had him on to talk about the math stuff with us here. But have you guys ever seen this? The
wonderland of mathematics.
Mathematics? That's for all kids.
Egghead. You like music, don't you?
What?
Well, without eggheads, there would be no music.
Uh,
Come on. Let's go to
That's
ancient
a
Greece.
little weird. Without
The time
math,
of
you
the-
wouldn't have music.
yeah. Are you saying that Disney's being like oppressive? Just like, yeah.
A little bit too science leaning. I think you
The
can make
master
music
egghead
without
of
it.
them all.
Pythagoras?
The father of mathematics and music.
Mathematics and music?
Ah.
And
you'll
also
find
the bad
mathematics
guy in
hardest
Assassin's
places.
Creed Odyssey.
And also a guy who had a sex cult.
Cult, yeah.
Watch. First, we'll need a string. Stretch it good and tight. Plunk it. Now divide in half. Plunk again. You see? It's the same tone.
12th
one
fret.
octave higher. Now divide the next section. And the next. Pythagoras discovered the octave had a ratio of 2 to 1. With simple fractions, he got this. And from this harmony in numbers developed the musical scale of today.
My God, you do
Of
sound
today, the
mathematics
epitome of the
gorgeous
white Western.
places.
You can imagine how excited Pythagoras was when he shared.
And this is
his
the thing,
findings
like
with his
one of like
pals
the
at
third or
tongue of
fourth
the eggheads,
episodes I ever
known
did
as
on this,
the-
I brought on my buddy who's a composition major, and most of college nowadays is doing stuff what's called atonal music, where all they do is go and try to deconstruct all of this stuff, and nothing's interesting to them unless you're deconstructing tonal music, which was oppressively linear.
That
Pythagoreans.
sweet atonal music song you showed was awesome.
Yeah.
To
I
discuss
wonder if I
their
have that back
mathematical
up there somewhere.
discoveries. Only members
Let's see if
were
I find the
allowed
link to it.
attend. They had a secret emblem, the pentagram. Let's see
Secret
what the
handshakes.
topic is for today.
I thought he was gonna see the sex cult.
He didn't get in the mood until he discovered Barry White.
Yeah, Bach did all kinds of crazy math stuff in his music.
What's going on?
It's a jam session.
Yeah, Bach basically just
Give me
pieced
something
together
with a
different
beat.
mathematical.
So from these eggheads, the Pythagoreans, with their mathematical formula, came the basis of our music of today.
I think this is just nerd cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
It's just nerds being like, actually,
you everything you got. Me.
actually, sir, we created all of the things that get pussy.
Yeah. Then you get this like stuff like this. So Leo Spoor had this thing, gender identity as a foundational concept in gender medicine, but the leading authority in this field of WPATH offers no useful definition of the term. In this short video, I explain why WPATH's definition contains self-contradicting, serializing, and stereotypes. So they can't even like define what Gender identity refers to a deeply felt internal intrinsic sense of their own gender. Gender incongruence is a diagnostic term as that describes a person's marked and persistent, like that. You can see already what the contradictions are in terms right there.
No, I actually got a couple people at work gave me a pretty good definition for gender when I asked. I've never been satisfied with a definition of gender, but they gave me a good one.
What was that?
A social construct.
Yeah.
And I tried telling them, I was like, well, no, that's a category. That's not a definition. What's the actual definition? How would you define it? And they said, a social construct. And I was like, you know what? Holy shit, I'm wrong about everything. Fucking retards.
Gender, depending on the context, gender may reference gender identity, gender expression, and or social gender role, including understandings and expectations culturally tied to people who were assigned male or female at birth. Gender identities other than those of the men and women who can be either cisgender or transgender include transgender, non-binary, genderqueer, gender neutral, agender, gender fluid, and third gender, among others. Many other genders are recognized around the world.
Do you remember? So we talked about rationality rules last time. Do you remember the definition? Because his thing with Colin Wright and Peter Boghossian, it was obnoxious because Peter kept stopping them and forcing them to define their terms as they did it. It was obnoxious, but it was very helpful. And do you remember his definition of man and woman?
No, not rational rules.
It was very long-winded, but they were both identical. And they pointed that the definition of man is identical to the definition of a woman, and he had some just dumbass explanation for it.
Yeah. What is it? Thomas Bogardus. He
does some good
videos on this.
He does. His videos are awesome.
I don't know him. What are they?
You know him because he was the one that debated Vosh and he was like, well, we would agree that like water refers to something real, right? And he's like, well, what do you mean by that? And he's like, well, we would both agree that like H2O is water, right? And he goes, that's actually not true. In Spanish, it's aqua. He said aqua.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. Yeah,
that's not me getting it wrong. That's him getting.
Yeah, so the word changes.
Yeah,
it's so ridiculous.
No, Thomas Bogardus is great on that stuff.
Hey, you can't define the thing because it has another thing. Hell, see, it's all relative. 99.9% the thing, 0.1% another thing. HuffPost. How to respond to your child coming out as trans from dads who've been there. HuffPost. Think twice before you cut off your dog's balls.
Oh man, that caught me off guard. Of course. All right, I actually used to think that was me. I was like, come on, you don't like. You're just being a lazy pet owner if you spay or neuter. You just keep them from fucking other dogs, and it's fine. And then I went to Brazil, and I was like, oh, yeah, cut your dog's balls off.
This is off subject, but look at this. Modern feminists, especially in America, was largely pioneered, influenced, and led by Jewish women. When you see this, was this put out positively by the Jewish people or negatively by the noticers?
Was this posted by
by Fuentes
or Kyle Kalinske?
Kyle Kalinske.
Who posted this?
What's your guess? Is
it based or cringe?
Jewish contributions. It was pro thing, but Fuentes used the same thing to say that the Jews are killing us all.
Man, the Jews need way better PR. They're like, we'll show everybody how valuable the Jews are. We'll tell them how much contributions we've made to intersectional feminism. Oh no, please don't. We'll show that it's subversive feminism. That'll keep them from thinking that we're subversive controllers of the world. Please don't.
Yeah. Anyway, as far as epistemology goes and axioms and all that sorts of stuff, I mean, one of the areas where I totally agree with you and believe it's true. I mean, what's that like Agrippa's thing? Like any sort of axiom in the world of morality and that sort of stuff all ends up being circular, and the Agrippa's dilemma or something like that, Agrippa trilemma. It's one of the areas where, especially when talking about morality coming out of Mormonism or something like that, and people think that, well, because I've gotten to this modernist linear scientific thinking, I've now it's all just, well, it's just what's obvious, it's just what's intuitive and all that sorts of stuff, and it's for sure not. I mean, that's where I say, like, I think you can point out axioms in the mathematical world, although I agree with your point that, like, maybe there's some things that down at the bottom of everything, it's all not quite there. The waiting for Godot or whatever type argument, but Gödel, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Gerda was
this says,
I just early lifed her.
Basically, when it gets back to all of our fallacies and all that sorts of stuff, but Agrippa's trilemma is the philosophical problem that any truth, when it gets down to the bottom of it, probably has a fallacy to it. It's either an infinite regress of circular reasoning, or it's dogmatic in some way, shape, or form. And that's the thing where I get into with Quine. Quine says, like, not epistemology, not enlightenment, empiricism. Empiricism just has dogmas at its core, and circular reasoning and infinite regress.
Right, without people realizing it. Is when you say empiricism, is that similar to logical positivism?
Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
Okay, same thing. Yeah, and that's wholly adopted without people realizing what they're doing.
Yeah, they don't realize that the logical fallacies at the base of their fallacy making of their fallacy finding center, in a weird way. But it's also there just in the same concept of, like, just saying the term only science can discover all truth. Well, that's something you can't put the scientific test to, so that statement can't be true if according to your statement, not right.
I mean, studying Euclid actually helped me understand this stuff a little bit better. Axioms are questionable, like, you can question them, you can challenge them, but that still doesn't mean that they don't hold weight, right? Like, as the foundation of the house, you could go and fiddle with the foundation of your house, but it doesn't mean that it's not holding up the walls.
And you know all about, like, the Nassim Taleb Black Swan concept, right?
Yeah.
Which that one is the whole thing. You could think that might even just be the same of what our measurements are, or even the measurement of gravity or any sort of thing like that. Is just the general concept of there are only black swans in the world because we've only ever observed black swans.
Right.
But then the second you see a white swan, it just obliterates that. So it's over. But that could be, like, true of any axiom we're going around. Yeah, more whites than a black. But I live in a more inclusive world, Jared. But
yeah, and that's true, and that's good to keep in mind, or else you end up making errors. Which, like, you see that with the people that are sometimes at the top of their scientific field, and they just get entrenched. And that's somewhat just like how people are, right? But they won't allow for a new idea to come in.
But this is where it gets back to the pragmatism, the new pragmatist that I always like to talk about with Peterson, or that Peterson brought up. Whereas Peterson, to some people, when he has all these different definitions or meanings or things, saying just even get back to axioms. But the reason new pragmatism, which came way before the postmodernists, so obviously all these problems were already seen way before those guys came along, but they saw that there's many, many different possibilities, or maybe this isn't going to always hold true, or maybe this or that, the other. But for now, this is the best choice. And that simple factor of saying, like, this is one that makes more sense, or this one's that's useful for me, and it's going to hold, at least as far as I know, in this thing. The simple act of ranking a thing or making a thing more useful in a moment is jumping the postmodern label right there, because as soon as you're not saying it's just all the same, all equal, and it could be whatever, and whatever is whatever, when you start putting any rank or any utility to a thing, you're breaking out of the postmodernism.
Right. Or even just to question philosophical inquiry as the best game in town.
Yeah,
because I think that's where Pascal ended up, Blaise Pascal, and he was, like, one of the smartest.
And that's also where I say, like,
ever lived.
Oh, sorry, were you going on that one?
No, that's all.
But that's where you also jump on saying that using the supposed fallacy of argument from consequences, or by their fruits you shall know them type concept is, but yes, everything that you're going to jump off of is going to be rooted in something circular or a fallacy or something like that. But the ones that those guys jump to is that general concept is, yeah, but the thing that seems to work or seems to go the farthest. And there's of course problems with that too, because you can use AI brain and take utility to its negative extreme. You know what I mean? And but that is what the argument that the New Pragmatists had for how you could put a moral base to how these different things might seem to work. But then where it becomes a fallacy is like saying, well, because this morally this thing works or whatever, that also means that the golden plates really are for sure telling the story of the history of, because things are so good here in Utah and around Mormons for a certain limited period of time, that means that those plates were for sure telling a history of the Americas or something like that. That type
Indeed,
deal.
they were.
Well, could have been, might be, could be.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? What's to say? Who's to say? But when all things even, I break for the marginalized. That's what I do, which is the long time saying thing. That's what the postmodernists did, because they argued for nothing is nothing, everything's nothing, but break for the oppressed. And you hear Dan McClellan say that all the time in his stuff. I'm just neutral, super neutral, but I break for the oppressed. And even in saying that you're breaking for the oppressed, as we all know, that's making a huge assumption that you're even doing that. Right? Because there's so much stuff going on right now about we got to give women a leg up. Whereas we got this stuff right here that it's coming out that like they're getting like 75% of the degrees out there. And look at this. Like they're just blowing men out of the water and all that type of stuff. But if you just break for the oppressed all the time, well, did that change at some moment? Did that axiom change underneath you at some moment?
What an odd patriarchy we live in.
Well, and break for the oppressed is good. Again, I would just say postmodernism, one of my biggest critiques of them is I feel like they just don't go far enough. Like question your own.
Yeah, because deconstruction, that's what Christopher said. I think he even has it written in one of his books, but it's true. And it's one of the ways we first connected is just saying you didn't deconstruct your deconstructing. Like you didn't do it. You didn't deconstruct that your new morality is you haven't demonstrated that it's stronger than the Mormon one or something like that. You've just
because then you might ask the question of like, what is actually good for the oppressed person, not just like anything goes for them. And you also might recognize, oh, there's like different ideologies that are trying to take advantage of that, like Marxism, or for instance, that are trying to take advantage of that and work that machinery, and to be aware of something like that.
Yeah, or you can take it to like AI brained extremes, like anything you take to extreme. Like I've discovered new morality. I saw somebody, it was actually Jay Dyer talking about Alex O'Connor, and we all know about Alex O'Connor arguing that there couldn't be a God because there was so much animal death, right? And then he starts saying, well, I may be more pro-life than you guys, but then if you start breaking down the thing that he was getting at, he was more pro-life of the living things of all animals, and to some of that extent, the AI brain might come to the conclusion that to give better life to all animals, it should eliminate the human ones, type stuff. And indeedly do. And you can always AI, and that's always the risk of the AI, is that AI brains and goes to everything. But that's some of my worries, that the Silicon Valley people, like that is just their brains. Like I'm the guy who would just kill myself to put my brain in the computer forever or something like that. And that's the person programming the thing. And then the thing's going to be that way anyway, because it's a computer. And it just creates all these trolley problems, ultimate supersonic trolley problems. Oh, that reminded me of this. I saw this trolley problem this week. It was this one right here. Every gender affirming therapist, endocrinologist, and surgeon in the world right now. You can stop the trolley at any time, but in doing so, you need to admit that you made a mistake.
That's brutal.
Yeah. But it's been dropping. Like you see, California's driver's license dropped completely off a cliff of how many are arguing for those types. Oh, we forgot Swalwell.
Yeah, Swalwell.
Swalwell's out.
God, don't make me defend Swalwell. I hope it comes out that it's just totally, completely, irrefutably obvious that he did it.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
I
Don't
have
make it
to-
a thing that's like
I
you have
know.
to take the null or be questionable about it or something because it's obviously like a political move or some sort of thing like that. But
Yeah, it's all cynical. It's all.
but he also gets what he took for him. Just real quick on epistemology. This is my musical friend who I had on where we talked about a tonality and all that sorts of stuff and how hard they're pushing at college. But anyway, he's blind and there he is on the salt flats. So going back to Kant, how is he supposed to tell who's what and what's where? And he's lost in the oblivion. He's legally blind and in the salt flats. Nothing means nothing, man. Nothing means nothing. And and here's us taking a picture, observing him, laughing at how lost he is in the universe.
I'd say blindness, like the place at which we measure blindness, is such an arbitrary thing, though.
Yeah.
You know,
both his corneas exploded.
that's
So
still arbitrary. Okay,
It's arbitrary. Well, what does explode? Did it go kaboom?
Yeah, no.
Did it go kaboom? Or yeah. Yeah. Anyway, back to Swalwell. I mean, just using the politics. Swalwell. Fartwell.
Dude, you know how much more likable he would have been if he came out and was like, "Yeah, I ripped ass. That was my bad." That was you. You're just lucky you weren't in the room. Oof.
Yeah.
But no, he's like, I don't know what the sound was. I definitely didn't fart. You're a person. We know you fart. Just yeah, that was me. That was a juicy one.
I only got a couple more minutes before the dog's gonna start jumping on me, even though we already started doing. So I had a million other things when we got lost on this, but it was good to get lost on it because it's always good and fun to talk about this stuff and flesh out the concepts and see that sort of stuff. But just to look at the BYU girls like dance squad like wins the national championship every year, and they just did again.
Oh, really?
And here it is. I'm like, how do they like keep winning it over and over again? Like, wouldn't there be like just be comparably good dancers or some sort of thing like that? But it also it irks me that at BYU, like the BYU we grew up in, and it's all great and stuff, but every single one of their dances are like dance to the slop trap music of the sloppiest trap music that was ever slop trap music. But they're but the Mormon girls are the best at that, I guess. If Joseph Smith came back and watched that? Like, what does all of his axioms? Who's to say what's to say? All of his axioms would blow up right there.
This
right?
is not worth all the additional pussy and money I got.
This is your multi-championship slop rap dance crew at BYU. Like that's like literally BYU. When I'm thinking back to the '90s at that, I'm genuinely still kind of thinking of them in, I don't know, flower dresses, wallflower flower dresses and all that stuff, and now they win every trap rap dance competition. I guess Wade's right. He just marries half of them. Stop that and I marry you. But it's so weird to think about the champs of that come out of BYU. But
That is odd.
yeah, it's crazy. I don't know if I get into other stuff. Anything you guys wanted to add before we went? Here's a guy being a dickhead to Mormons on a comedy stage.
Any other languages in your life?
Malagasy and French.
Malagasy? Isn't that what they speak in Madagascar?
That's right.
What the fuck? Damn, that's cool as hell, brother. Why do you live in Madagascar?
Mormon mission.
Mormon mission. Wow. You have to translate your heretical faith into another tongue. You learned another language just to say, then the white salamander showed Joseph where the scrolls were. Great riff. Yeah, I loved it. Can the staff go around and charge everyone another $1? That was too good for me. How many people did you convert to Mormonism in? 5. Is that a successful mission? No, that's not good. You really weren't putting up numbers. It wasn't taken in Madagascar. They kind of had logic and reason in that country. And they kind of were immune to
They had a lot of modernity reason in Madagascar.
Yeah, I'm sure they did, buddy.
Starbase is right, because we have a dance culture, and many Christians historically didn't taught dance was seen. And we have one right here, the Nazarene Risto. Although he graduated, he deconstructed that. He's a deconstructed ex-Nazarene.
Well, I don't like to dance, but I did dance at my wedding.
Is there a big bunch of Nazarene ex-Nazarene influencers going around talking about they deconstructed their ex-Nazarene faith and starting 501c3s? Sure.
Some and like progressive movements within the Nazarene Church, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, they're going gay.
Nice. We didn't even talk about what my name refers to, which I don't know if Jared took it, but there was the
I didn't take
what
it.
type of theologian are you? And I was saying
like, what do you?
Bruce R. McConkie.
Yeah, I got the same
Risa
thing.
was also a McConkie, so you didn't realize
74%.
you were getting preached at by two McConkie'ites right here.
So wait, like what? How do you even take it? You just put your Mormon hat back on and say?
I was thinking how I thought of it as a kid.
Yeah. Okay.
I just thought of it how I thought of it now.
But then, like, I did like crack one or two jokes just so I didn't know like what to say, because it said what. In some point, I said, "Why did God not give the blacks priesthood?" And I said, "Because God's racist" or something, and that was a joke. So I chose McConkie or something like that.
It's weird that would be McConkie. Well, I guess I guess McConkie's like he just doesn't like him. I don't know what to tell you. You're the shitty kids, I guess.
Jackson Washburn felt that they needed to put more women theologians.
Oh, shut the fuck up. There's less of them, you idiot. There's less of them.
Maxine Hanks. Who would have gotten if it was Maxine Hanks, Blair Osler, Melissa O'Neilly are some contemporary examples.
Like, how many male nurses do you know that are like, how come you felt the need to specify that I was a male nurse?
Well, are any of those theologians?
I don't know them at all. Maxine Hanks sounds familiar. I know Blair Osler is one of the gender critical
he's a queer Mormon
theologian.
I still have that book. I have not delved into it. I started reading good books, so.
Oh, you can't be part of this. Well, you slopped out on TV, slop out stuff.
Oh, I'm slopped out, man. I'm having.
What about? Oh, you can't do any more slop TV.
Well, I'm like, it's every couple years. I'm like, all right, I have. I consume more things that I hate than things that I like.
Me too, but I don't always try to do that. Like I generally try to not find.
I don't even try to do that. Well, I mean, we do it with our stupid movies, but that's like for fun. This is like homework. The slop that I ingest most of the time.
Yeah, The Boys is homework now.
I know.
I'm finishing it because I just have to finish it.
And then I had just the greatest, dude. Project Hail Mary. I listened to it, and I only did 1.2 speed because I actually like listening to books a little slower, so I can really think about it as it's happening. And it was at that speed. It was like 18 hours long, and I finished it in like 2 days.
Wow.
And it was amazing. I didn't watch political videos, I didn't watch any. It felt so good. I felt semi-recharged. Last time I did this, I went and read like 5 Dostoevsky books and 2 Tolstoy books. Oh, it was awesome. So I need another renaissance, which is why we need to start the Brothers Karamazov soon.
Yeah, you guys are going to do that.
Yes,
again,
we do.
I don't think I can do that whole one. That was a long book, and I liked it. I liked it a whole lot. But the Dostoevsky too has like so many nicknames for each character.
Well, it's just once you get used to the Russian,
right?
the Russian diminutives, like with Raskolnikov. A lot of time they'll call him. Sometimes they'll call him Raskolnikov, but that's his last name. Sometimes
like
Ilyusha's
Ilyich.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need a cheat sheet.
Killy Milly Frilly Dilly Billy and Boo.
Once you start reading it, it gets more intuitive, right? Like because the main character in Brothers Karamazov is Alexei, but they'll call him Lyosha a lot of times.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Or yeah.
But then I guess anybody who knew Russian would. That's like William and Bill.
Yeah, it's something like that.
They knew that all along.
I mean, I didn't know that, but it is
Does
something.
calling somebody William or calling somebody Bill alter their life? Let's get into the etymology of this stuff. We know this as Risto is Christopher, and I go by Chris. I think I would have liked my life better if I went by Risto when I was younger because
There's
still time.
Once we
I
had
don't think it's good because I like it as a kid. Now it's just stuck. But when I was a kid, I didn't like my name.
Once we had 3 Christophers in the chat, I started trying to convince everybody to call you Topher, but they didn't stick.
My name, wherever I go, I can't control it. You can't control what happens. It always just comes in my full name. Like where I go, it's like Chris Hanna. It just like rolls together like that.
That was me in high school. For some reason, it was like Jared Higdon.
Yeah,
Which does not roll off the tongue nearly as well. So I don't know why it was always that, but
I mean that partially always happens because there's so many Chris's around and Christophers and all that stuff. But I guess it's just like an easy one to say. So if there's like 3 guys named Chris here,
yeah, they're not going to
work.
Chris Lazanovich.
Yeah. So anyway, I got to get going because I have run out of time and I got a doggy pushing on me and it snowed. It freaking snowed.
Yeah, it snowed here too. We just got our sprinklers set up, and then I had to go stop them and empty out the drain. It's fucking annoying.
By the way, I am out of town next week. The band is a traveling band to the south, so we can either call it off, or you guys can round up a Maven one more time and give her another whooping. I've been watching a lot of tag team wrestling, and I picked up some moves you guys could try. Like there's the British Bulldog, there's the Legion of Doom had some good moves, and
I'll let you know. Maybe we'll do something.
Where if you want to. If not, I'll just put up a thing saying no show this week, but because I could for sure not do it. Flip didn't even check in. He was driving in Idaho. Hope he didn't caught in some snow or something.
No, he when you asked him if he was coming on, he said I just got home and I got a lot of shit to do and I'm beat. So. He's not getting his paycheck this week, I guess.
Well, alrighty. Well, thanks for coming on and squaring us away with epistemology. Now we are all very, very certain to not.
Well, I think you more squared me away. So
I don't think so. I think I said I predicted before where we would land, and I think we landed on there. And I think you agreed with that prediction. Is that we'll kind of realize that it's pretty tough to land on exactitudes in the world, but. The way we get through is just all agreeing on what works. So, anyway, I gotta run. The dog's going nuts.
Hot damn.
Hasta la later, everybody.
See ya.
ciao.